In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing your
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Red?
Gone are the days of Paz and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things, and we called it Best Gen because all of us on the panel, más o menos, are from the same generation, and we happen to think that it's the best one. Not because we're better than you, but our movies and entertainment certainly were. So strap on into your seats and put your tray tables in their upright positions, everybody, because we're going to reminisce on the days of yore and simultaneously complain about the garbage, the utter filth that Hollywood is giving us today. How's everybody doing?
I'm tired.
I'm exhausted.
Jared, we can't hear you again. Fix your mic issues.
Yeah.
Every week. I've been up since 4 a.m. in the morning. We've been traveling, had an early flight. I am dead tired, and I only watched episode 1, and I hate myself. I can't imagine how you guys feel having watched all 3 episodes.
The Aussie YouTuber who does silly songs. I'm blanking on his name. He's got the Zoom. So it's like it's 2023. How the crap have you haven't learned to use Zoom yet?
Yeah,
it's a good one. Get your crap sorted, bearded. Joined by David, who just got back from out of town, and Albelio again, who's here last week, and me, who went straight from having the flu during the stream last week into a cold this week. So I'm sick again. Don't ever have kids. Because when they get sick, you can't just not take care of them. And
you can just put them outside.
Yeah, could. The youngest one is she just turned 2, so it's just a little young for that. It is nice though when they get cuddly, because they don't cuddle with you anymore. You know, past 1, babies don't care about their parents anymore, especially dads. We get the short end of the stick. So yeah, I actually love it when they get sick because it's the only time they'll let me hold them. You know, and I miss that.
Sick cuddles are the best. Especially in the wintertime, because they're just like a heater on you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Expect sickness until they're 21, right? I hit 21 a long time ago, Mark. So that's why my voice isn't up to snuff.
21.
Yeah, I got it. I corrected myself.
Yeah.
And Bearded's back. Let's see if we can hear him.
You know what?
Yeah, we can hear you. Jared will not be joining us today.
Jared Prime
is dead. He said, let's see, he sent me a text saying, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark, because he was forced to watch 3 episodes of Rings of Power, and then he died. So I've got a little in memoriam, definitely a unique, not repurposed in any way. Oops, I didn't upload it.
That's interesting because Jared's mom just rescued us from the bus stop.
I just saw Jared's mom
Today.
too. I saw Jared's mom.
He didn't mention anything about his imminent death.
Oh, he died just a few minutes ago.
She didn't mention the imminent death while washing the blood off her hands.
It was a few minutes ago, guys. Here, let me see. I forgot to upload it, but we got his in memoriam. I almost died. So there was 2 days where I wasn't sick, but I sure wasn't feeling good because I was watching Rings of Power. So we got our little our royalty-free Sarah McLachlan in memoriam for Jared, who died watching Rings of Power.
Congratulations!
It's a completely
familiar.
it's a completely unique stinger that definitely has not been repurposed about
Deterioration.
30 times now.
But hey, if David, if it makes you feel any worse, I did not see any of it, so I don't feel bad at all. Didn't get around to it. However, I was watching all week Ted Lasso season 1, so I'm feeling, pretty darn skippy. Yeah.
Yeah, season 1 was really fun. And season 2 is pretty good. Season 3 is garbage. Jared can fight me, and he's not here, so he won't. There's not much else to talk about other than just Rings of Power. There's a couple news stories which I thought were relevant.
Are they desperate people on Twitter trying to defend Rings of Power?
I mean, there was a lot of that, too. But there were a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of freaks, saying that Season 2 was better than Season 1. They're like, oh, it's such a huge improvement. The pacing is so much better. There's so much more action.
That's the main thing I've heard, the pacing. It hits the ground off running.
I don't know what they want. Look, I was kind of like, it kind of gave me a little bit of hope. Like, look, I know the writing's not going to be good because they straight up said they weren't listening to criticism from Season 1. So I know the writing's not going to be better, but at least it'll be like a little bit easier to digest if there's more action and it hits the ground running. It's 3 hours of talking.
I mean, the
Nothing
show
happens.
hits the ground running like Jared's body.
Anyway, so here's the news before we get into Rings of Power. Greta Gerwig is remaking Fight Club, and it's going to be all women.
So, a Twitter feud?
Honestly, there's nothing scarier than a chick fight. I'm just saying.
Isn't that what Mean Girls is, though?
Kinda, yeah. And they already just remade that, so...
Oh, they did, didn't they? They did.
It was the musical. They made a movie of the musical of the movie.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't
It was fine. Actually, it was okay. It was, but
Oh, man. Yeah, this is it's going to be bad. That's all I can say about it. I don't get political, okay? This isn't a political post.
I love how every episode now, every
Look,
single week is like...
This has nothing to do with politics. I just saw this, and I laughed for an hour, okay? These are 4 days apart. We got Tim Walz, the new Democratic VP pick, giving a shout-out to his favorite dog, Scout. And then 4 days later, giving another shout-out to his dog, Scout.
very different dog.
This is real. They deleted
Oh my God! Are you kidding? The Democratic Party drops the black vote for Hispanic voters, and then they do it to dogs. What the hell?
They race swap the dog.
Yeah.
There's the smallest chance that the second one was just a random dog at the dog park, but that's not the right picture to put on your post if that was the case.
Exactly. That's what they're saying. Like, so someone came out. This has been deleted, scrubbed from the internet, right? They did say no. Scout was playing with another dog, but you still took the picture and posted it. Clearly, he's clearly not. This is a team doing it, right? This isn't Tim Walz's brain on Twitter.
It was so funny on Twitter. That's funny. That's hilarious.
Reminds me of those hysterically racist Chinese commercials where it's like the black guy walks in and the Chinese girl standing there, and he's like trying to hit on her, and then she crams him into a washing machine, throws a pot
yes,
in,
and he comes
pulls
out
him
white,
and he's Asian.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that. It's so racist. It's so funny.
I thought that's the first thing that came to mind when you showed the picture. Like, oh no, they washed the dog.
No, wait. That's as political as we'll get. Hey,
Oh,
we got the happy Mexican in the house.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
We never talked about the Acolyte cancellation, but it got canceled, and then Amanda Steinberg dropped like another diss track. It was just her curling her, weaving or braiding, putting. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the. I don't want to be racist. I don't know the term for it. I'm sorry. She's doing her hair. She's doing her hairstyle, and for 8 minutes ranting about how toxic the fans are.
I believe that's called
Did you listen to the rant?
appropriation because that's a Dutch braid.
Yeah, it is. It's a Dutch braid. And then we got a whole bunch of
her reactions though have been all over the place though, because she's
it doesn't bother. Yeah, this one was. Like it doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, I saw it coming. I knew it was gonna. Yeah. The fans hated it. The toxic fans were so loud that of course it was gonna get canceled. It didn't bother me at all. But it's like the opposite of her diss track saying like screw you, you can't, like, you have no power. I won't listen to your discourse, except that it's the discourse that got it canceled. So honestly, so does it matter or does it not matter? Be consistent.
Honestly, though.
Oh no, we're losing Jared again.
The last.
You're cutting in and out.
I was just. You can hear me? Yeah.
We can hear you, but you're cutting in and out. It's weird.
Oh. I was just saying, honestly, it wasn't even the discourse that got it canceled. It was the fact that nobody watched it. It just had such terrible ratings.
Yes. Then we got a whole bunch of articles. New details on why the Acolyte was canceled. Forbes. This is a Forbes article. This is supposed to be respected journalists. There are no new details. There's no new details. It was canceled because no one watched it.
Yeah.
This is.
I think the closest.
That's not new.
Information was that people's excuse that it was just not picked up for a second season, that it wasn't actually canceled or whatever, came out to they actually really were about to renew it, and then they chose not to. So reconfirming the fact that it was actually canceled. Yeah.
Do you guys listen to her rant? Because I was too lazy to.
I didn't. I listened to 30 seconds. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was like, I'm out. Like, nobody cares.
I already have to finish my final video on the Acolyte, and I'm behind, and I don't have energy to watch her talk.
Yeah.
Well,
like, it's over. It's done as soon as I get that video out, which might be a while because Rings of Power is more important. I was really close to finishing it, and then I got sick, and then I got sick again. So, blame my kids.
A lot of the other criticism I've seen thrown around there is, all these people are just review bombing it, and they haven't even watched the show. I'm like, there's lots of people like me and like a lot of other people I've talked to that have watched the entire show and haven't reviewed it, but hate the dang show. Like,
our ratings would not really improve the rating on it at all.
Right.
The people who are passionate enough about Star Wars to leave reviews probably started at least watching the first episode.
Yeah.
And didn't like it, and then were like I love Star Wars so much, and it's been years since I've cared about Star Wars, but I still will tune in at least to the first episode and just check in on my baby, but it doesn't affect me emotionally anymore.
I was so invested as a kid with Star Wars. It sucked because I remember that Star Wars was all I talk about, junior high, middle school, all of that. It makes me so angry because I feel that I lost a part of me, I feel like I almost lost the passion that I have for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Disney killed it.
Well, yeah. And the argument they always give is like, hey, look, if you don't like the new stuff, don't watch it. It's not going to affect the source material. I hate that argument. It's bullcrap.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to watch the original trilogy of Star Wars now.
Yeah.
They are tainted. And yes, their quality hasn't changed, but it's like all roads lead to Rome. You know, you start watching it, and you can't help but be reminded of the filth.
Yeah.
I have more than one friend, multiple friends, who stopped reading the Wheel of Time books because the TV show was so bad.
Yeah.
My wife said it ruined the books for her.
Yeah, it's kind of the same for me. As much as I enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, it was tainted by the fact that we knew it was leading to the sequel trilogy. I'm like, I don't care. The sequel trilogy was a flop, you know? But, yeah.
Even after Rogue One, like, everybody liked Rogue One. The reason why I didn't like it is because I knew what's in the future. You know?
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen.
I definitely have heard, even from some people, like for me, I liked The Force Awakens, and The Force Awakens is really good, but even more directly than what you were saying with the Mandalorian, that it leads to the Rise of Skywalker. I don't think I've rewatched any of the sequel trilogy, except maybe The Force Awakens once before Last Jedi came out.
Exactly. Other than The Force Awakens,
same.
I watched The Force Awakens twice because the Last Jedi was coming out, and then I never watched again.
Yeah, and I still mostly enjoy The Force Awakens. I still like it. Okay, I think it's good. But
You know what movie I haven't lost any?
Craven the Hunter? Yeah. So good, guys. I didn't watch it. Did they? No.
But it's the Revenge of the Sith. I still have a lot of love for that one.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, my first Star Wars movie was The Phantom Menace, but it was not that good, you know. It was not that good. And Clone Wars. I mean, I like. It's hot take, but I like The Phantom Menace as a child. I like The Phantom Menace more than The Force Awakens. I mean, the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because the Clone Wars was kind of boring, you know, with the whole thing with the intergalactic, whatever. I don't have much care for that, even as an adult. But yeah, The Revenge of the Sith is just for me like that movie, just pure fun. You know, it's just fun.
Yeah. It was definitely the best of the prequels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I grew up in the prequels. You know, that was my generation.
Yep.
We didn't get any of the original trilogy in Mexico. I don't think that they ever like single time they ever projected those. But they were putting a lot of the prequels on TV.
Well, we grew up on the originals. We had the original cut of Star Wars on VHS, and our father,
Dad sold them.
He didn't sell them, bro. He gave them away when he bought the DVD special editions.
Oh my god!
And he didn't realize that the original cuts are so treasured now because of all the changes that were made.
Yeah, he also didn't know buying those DVDs that they had been changed.
Right? Yeah. No, he's like it's a better medium. It's more durable. We're gonna have them long term, you know. So yeah, he didn't have a need for the original VHS.
They were nice VHS. They were like the silver.
Yeah, it was a box set.
The silver. Oh, it was a beautiful box set.
I'm pretty sure my parents still have ours. So
you should look how much they sell on.
There was like in like
then I'd have to sell them.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I want them. I want to keep them.
But anyway,
that's a good point.
Especially with Lord of the Rings now, like I'm always going to love the movies and the books. But they are intentionally tying this show into the movies. They are ripping off cinematography, dialogue. They are chaining this show, desperately trying to get you to think that it's part of the same universe as the Peter Jackson movies.
Yeah. You just gotta know that it's not. You just got to know that it's not. This is just some. You
want to You don't have to have watched the show. This was promotional material before the show came out, and it'll piss you off. Okay, Sauron has returned, and the fans are ready. So we got a little trailer, but it includes a bunch of quotes from fans who are hyped for season 2. Any guesses that there's like a bunch of quotes. Anyone want to guess what the first one is?
Diversity.
Nope.
No.
Willing to bet it's a part of the rhyme. The three
No.
rings
It's
in darkness
people on
define
Twitter.
them.
These are quotes from fans on Twitter who are excited for the show. Sorry, I wasn't clear.
You're racist if you don't like it.
No, because it's hype. They're trying to hype it.
Well, they're probably excited about Sauron, learning more about his journey and how he became.
No, it's where Mark Clark.
I don't know.
Mark Clark's got it. It's shipping Sauron and Galadriel.
Oh my god.
That was kind of where my thought.
The fans are ready. Galadriel tease. I love you. 10 points for Gryffindor, Mark Clark. Exceptional jaw dropping. I already know it. You haven't seen it yet, and it's jaw dropping.
Talk about positive review bombing. This doesn't happen, right?
Deranged,
I'm
unhinged.
screaming. It's amazing. I can't wait. This one's the best. Deranged, unhinged, impeccable. The Rings of Power. Okay, look. Okay, I'm trying to get into the mindset of these freaks, these psychopaths. I'm pretending I'm a leftist. Okay, so this is right up my alley. It's preaching my gospel. It's catering directly towards me and ignoring the bad writing. I'm cheering for my team.
They're fixing the problematic.
I can't imagine being this excited or using those adjectives.
Yeah. The range.
It's an interesting combination of adjectives. I mean, I can see it theoretically, but it's still definitely a very interesting.
There be demons, brother. No, but why are you choosing these words?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. What show did they watch? What about the show was deranged and unhinged? The writing was unhinged,
especially in any positive connotation of that. You know,
exactly.
Right. And then for Amazon to turn around and is like, yes, this is the quote, guys.
This is the one that we want people to see. Charlie Vickers is gonna lose. Just,
I want to know which other tweets and comments they didn't.
They rejected.
Because if these were the best they could find, what were the other ones?
These comments have been insane.
You could say they were unhinged.
The comment, Twitter would make you believe, at least. My problem is I interact with a lot of these psychopaths, so I get more of them in my feed. I don't know about your your normies, but Twitter would have me believing that the show was good. Everyone said
I had heard things like
so
it's better, but is it better enough? That's the sort of, I haven't been following a lot, but it's even some of the people that are positive are like, well, is it going to be enough though? So
these first 3 episodes are so boring.
Better, but
they're so boring.
Yeah, that's what I heard from everyone. Even people that are in the middle, that are not either conservative or the other. They say it's kind of mid. This is kind of boring.
There's a couple of things that I do appreciate so far, but they're either too much of an overcorrection, or it's not quite linking up with how things were before, so there's an inconsistency.
Yes.
So I'm reserving a lot of judgment for the rest of the season to come out, but we'll get into those details because it's.
There are 2 things that are good. I will give the show praise where it's due. It's kind of a deep cut. But one of Sauron's names is Lord of the Wolves, and they specifically use his connection with wolves in episode 2 or 3. I think it's 2.
1.
He has.
Chihuahua?
They show that he has mastery over the dire wolves. That's accurate.
That's the first episode with the overfed Chihuahua there.
And the other scene with the
ward,
not hobbits with the stranger. When they realize there are horses coming and they're trying to pick up their camp and hide it really quickly, they're grabbing their stuff and oh, excuse me, sorry, I feel terrible. Gandalf, that's his name. Or sorry, we don't know his name. Sorry,
Oh,
that's what I was
totally
confused.
not Gandalf.
That's
Totally not Gandalf.
his name.
Turns around to grab his tent, and he turns back around, and the hobbits are gone. And that was actually a nice detail of like, hey, yes, that's kind of their only thing. They're good at hiding, and there's so much more that's wrong with it. They're also supposed to be nomadic and good at walking, and yet they have Gandalf pulling them on a sled the whole time. But
I hated that line actually. It's like, oh, I miss home. It's like, miss home. You're nomadic.
no, it's worse. She doesn't see that. Gandalf says it's perfectly natural for a Harfoot to miss home.
Yeah.
Okay, look, change
Obviously, no.
one word and it works. To miss your family. Or to miss family,
Yeah.
But they don't have homes!
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the stranger doesn't know their culture super well.
No, but yes, he does!
He's assuring
He's-
them. Yeah.
I'm
He's
trying
saying
to
it's
think-
natural for a Harfoot!
But again,
to feel homesick.
it'd be natural for somebody to miss their home, even though really they shouldn't. But
He shouldn't know what a Harfoot. Well, like he should know what a Harfoot is by this point, but he shouldn't know certain words like wizard. How he knows he's a wizard, I have no
come
idea.
out of nowhere.
There's so
Having
much.
I think the problem is, I think the set
acting
event
was
could
okay.
be true for hobbits, but they're not supposed to be hobbits yet.
Yeah, these aren't hobbits. Oh man,
Right.
I can't
Well,
wait.
that'll
I
be
can't wait till we get to the stores, baby.
The black
Baby, I'm so excited to meet another group of not hobbits. They're so okay. I guess we should probably start complaining about the plot
Yeah.
now.
I mean, I
There's
only
tons of
watched first episode. That was enough for me. I made
Same.
my Mexican parodies up on YouTube. You want to check it out later?
I
It's
haven't seen it yet.
kind of funny.
Literally, like I put it
check it
in my video that dropped Saturday. Did I drop on Saturday? I finished watching today. Because I was editing episode 1 for literally 24 hours straight.
You were on fire with those. Like I watched the episode.
It was
and then
24 hours of
reviewed
editing,
more.
and I made it to the title sequence.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. That cold open intro was so long.
It was so long too.
There are so many scenes.
It's like 15 minutes.
They fade out and then they fade in immediately to the exact same
Yes.
shot. Like, what the hell?
Not even a time passage
No.
or anything.
Well,
No.
I mean,
I think that's what
they-
was implied,
Yeah,
but
presumably
they didn't
that's
do it
why
because
they
it's
did
like
it,
they
but-
cut to commercial break, and I was like, "What?"
So weird.
Yeah, that would typically be
Yeah, this-
in standard TV where there'd be
This season was
Right.
definitely like edited differently because they have the ads now.
All right, so
Oh, okay.
season 2 begins, and where do we pick up?
I have no idea.
It said
I have
the dog-
absolutely no idea when this is taking place.
Yeah.
Because any answer that you can give me breaks something that they established in season 1.
Yes. Well, it starts after the conclusion of the War of Wrath.
Directly after?
I have no idea
Because if
for
it's
some
directly
reason,
after Morgoth's
Sauron
death,
is-
we have problems.
I know.
We have problems because season 1 told me that after Morgoth's death, Sauron waged war, another war for a couple years.
And
The war,
Galadriel chased
the
him
war
across
that
the
killed
mountain.
Galadriel's brother, and the orcs grew in number under his control. They showed us a scene of him wearing Morgoth's crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's another Sauron. Like I didn't get that
yeah,
part.
so we're-
no, no.
No. So Sauron is actually the number 2. So Morgoth is the big bad. He's Satan. Sauron was his his second
Right-hand man.
his right hand man, his number 1 general. So everyone knew who Sauron was, which makes that scene even more stupid when he's giving his talk. You guys need to follow me, Sauron. I'm Sauron, guys.
Yeah.
I'm saying this for the audience.
Yeah, it was
not
like
for you.
introducing. Like it was like an introduction. Like And why is Adar like Adar is not even part of the books, right? Like
No, Adar's
Adar
made
is
up,
just-
completely made up.
The cast isn't from the books.
what is he even representing? Like, what the heck is going on? If Morgoth was number one and Sauron was number two, why is Adar actually assassinating? Or I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but why is he assassinating Sauron? And then it seems like a Venezuelan gang was ganging up on him, literally.
Yep. Yeah, I cannot believe that-
Censors. He can say that he's Mexican. I'm kind of Mexican.
Well, I was gonna say he's Mexican. He's not Venezuelan, so we can't.
My best friend is Venezuelan. She lets me do that shit.
Oh, okay, there we
Oh,
go. We're good. We're
the
good.
old "I have a black friend" trope. Yeah, that never works over here.
So I
It
know we
shouldn't,
got right
but,
into
but
Sauron,
shouldn't that work though? Like, isn't having a black friend kind of proof you're not a racist? Like, would a racist have a black friend?
Nobody,
90%,
yeah. I know a lot of racist abuelitas here in Mexico. They cannot look at a black guy without calling them the N-word or a monkey.
Okay, Albello, you were talking about nerd stuff.
Oh
I
no, I'm
interrupted
fine
you.
with the racist stuff. Let's go.
Okay,
No, the so
it's
the
not like
first
last
thing-
stream got demonetized because of it.
So the first shot of this episode, the first shot of this season, is Morgoth's crown, and
Yes.
I felt the disturbance in the Force the instant you started watching this, Tech. Because anybody who's a fan of the books knows that crown shouldn't be here. For anybody who doesn't know the books, that crown was pounded over Morgoth's head before they cast him into the void.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be here. So immediately, not even 5 seconds into it, I paused and just took notes. But
just
then
a
we get,
prop.
How do you go here?
yeah. So
It reminds me
yeah,
when
you-
Darth Vader mask was in the last movie of the sequel trilogy. Like,
Yeah.
what was that doing there? You know?
mhm. And then we get to
Right, and
get
it
to the
would have
point
worked.
where the orcs jump his ass.
It would have worked if they hadn't shown. Because in season 1 they showed, they show the scene of Sauron wearing Morgoth's crown, right? But in season 1 you don't know that's what it is. You just think, oh, that's Sauron, and he wears a crown, and then they tell you, nope, it's Morgoth's crown. So,
Yeah, it's pretty.
except
ridiculous.
he never wears it.
Yeah, wasn't the
He never wears it.
He wears it in the back.
This is literally his crowning ceremony.
Did they
And
forget
we
to
know
say
that he's supposed to be crowned because we saw footage of him wearing it. And apparently he never wore it. And this so it's just retarded. It's so
They
I don't
stupid.
know
forgot their
enough
own
about this
ending, right?
Because I know what we see in the movies in the Lord of the Rings movies also shows him with a similar looking stuff going on, and even in the Hobbit, I think too, it shows.
Yeah, he's got his own armor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He
But
but-
what's the
He never
distinction
has
between
the
the
crown.
crown versus that armor that has a really similar
yeah,
style?
no, but that's why I thought it was until this season says no,
No, this is
it's
Morgoth's.
Morgoth's
Oh, I see.
crown.
Okay.
And it's different. I'm looking right now at the Sauron thingy, and it's different. Like,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
kind of different.
And notice
It's a little
too,
bit different. It's inspired.
notice
have
too
more
the crown
stuff to see.
lacks the placeholders for the Silmarils.
Yeah. That too. Oh, dude. This is skipping ahead, but it's fresh in my mind. Celebrimbor was saying, I've never built anything important my whole life until now.
How do you get to be the master?
He made the Silmarils!
I haven't read any of the books.
He has a book named after him!
Even I know that shit.
Hey,
Like,
didn't Feanor make those?
Oh, I don't know. I thought he helped.
No, I
Maybe
could
it was
have sworn Feanor made
Okay, I
the-
could have it wrong.
But still, he's
still, yeah.
a renowned,
Craftsman.
legendary craftsman. And they acknowledge that in season 1, even though he doesn't know what a freaking alloy is. He's supposed to be a knowledgeable.
Oh yeah,
was
you're
that?
right. The Halbrand told that
Oh, yeah, it was Feanor. I was wrong.
Oh, you know that if you mix this and this, you have an alloy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was Feanor.
The funny
wrong.
thing,
Sorry.
I agree with you, Tex-Mex.
It's
that
been a while.
I appreciate
Yeah.
the scream though.
it takes
Yeah,
24
yeah.
hours. 24 hours to edit that shit.
Mm.
You can go through every single scene and find an error. Like even mistakes like editing and directing and all of that. Even those kind of things that are seem small, there are hundreds of errors in this episode alone.
Yeah, so they end up having him give a speech, and the whole time he's more nervous because he's fiddling with his hands. Like, man, I've never done something so important.
Also, why is he in his fair form? Why? Why? It makes like the literal. It's canon that anytime he had to assume his fair form, the orcs would make fun of him.
They kind of did.
Yeah, they
If
kill
he's
him at
trying,
one point.
he's giving his speech, wringing his hands, acting like a nervous wretch.
And by the way, did anybody else like catch the line where he's like, "Some of you may die"?
Yes, yeah, it's in my video.
Yeah.
And I
But it
just
is a
started
But that's a
laughing.
sacrifice I am willing to make.
My mind.
I literally put it in my video.
I was like, we're not even a minute into the season 2 of this $billion show, and
He
ripping
has
off
just
trash.
become a lampoon of a villain.
A parody of a parody villain.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you have to watch my parody. I don't want to spoil for anything for you.
He's
But I did something
quoting Farquaad.
Yeah, so this is the Dark Lord, everybody. And then he gets ganked by the orcs.
So disrespectful.
Like, which just makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no. I hate. We'll get into it later too, but I hate everything they've done with the orcs. It's they.
Yeah, it's the same thing that's happening with D&D,
Yeah.
where they're trying to make them not a monolith, and I'm like,
Yeah, they're not.
okay, not a monolith, but they're still a different
race, right?
Look,
Yeah, come on.
as nuanced. This is as nuanced as it ever gets in the books. Yes, Tolkien did say the orcs hated Sauron, but they fear him. They would never, in their wildest dreams, dream of betraying him. They are ruled out of fear.
Yeah.
And the fact that they stage a freaking coup is so moronic.
Yeah.
And they're trying to humanize these orcs. They give them a little orc baby and a little orc family, and the orc looks gay. He's got that weird.
Oh no.
The weird like.
Yeah, I saw.
He's
that in
got-
the article.
I think it's chainmail, but it looks like hair. He
A wig,
looks
yeah.
so effeminate.
the
like
coif.
yeah, it's a coif, and he's got his little orc baby. Look, yes. Technically, the orcs reproduced.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess they're not the Urukai, but still.
Well, even then, look. Oh, so, okay. We gotta jump ahead a little bit then. Okay.
I do not support IVF on orcs.
Okay. So these are stupid people trying to be smart. Okay. They're saying, "Oh, people are freaking out about the orc family." So freaking retarded. If you have a problem with this, but you don't have a problem with this, you don't know Tolkien. Okay. Their argument is if you think this feels like Tolkien, but this doesn't feel like Tolkien, you don't know the books. Because Tolkien actually said that orcs have sex. They reproduce sexually. Okay? Not like this.
That's
And
an
the
Urukai.
idiot doesn't realize that's not an orc. That's an Urukai. It's half goblin, half orc, and they are bred. Now, do they come out of weird, fleshy, goopy sacks? We don't know, because Tolkien didn't say. All Tolkien said they're created with Sauron used dark magic to breed them. So, Peter Jackson made that, instead of having an exposition scene, hey, I'm going to use my dark magic to breed. I'm gonna get the zygotes and the XY chromosomes. And I'm gonna pull them out of an orc, and I'm gonna abracadabra them. And
The
So
chant
rather than
goes,
doing
the power
that,
of one, the power of two.
he
the
came
power
up
of
with a
many,
way.
Urukai.
He came up with a way to wordlessly, visually give us the information. These aren't regular orcs. This is some unnatural creation.
Yeah.
So yes, this feels like Tolkien to me because it's not trying to actively contradict anything from the books. It's filling in a gap to streamline the process.
Yeah,
and it's
visual.
really gross and really freaking cool.
Point.
This, while technically it's correct, doesn't feel like Tolkien because Tolkien said orcs are evil.
Yeah.
Like,
And I see what you mean now.
Like, I know that everything's nuanced, okay? But like, are you too stupid to understand this distinction?
This speaks to the biggest problem I have with this season immediately, and that is
Yeah.
that they are humanizing evil.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The entire season of The Acolyte.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideology of the left.
Yes. But again,
Also-
the Acolyte, those are unknown characters. They're just like, oh yeah, this isn't really a Sith. This is just. But yeah, you're absolutely right. They're doing bad things and making
I
look stupid and incompetent. But these are established characters, right? Sauron is a manifestation of evil, right? He is like evil incarnate. He's the Dark Lord. He's not
Not the
some
place to start suddenly
misunderstood
trying to make
guy who is
They're
just trying to
they're
heal-
refugees.
heal-
They're refugees, guys. They're just misunderstood. They want a home. We
Yeah.
want
Yeah, they're gonna take over a hotel in Colorado. Just give them time.
All right, this episode's demonetized.
At this point, I'm just gonna send it if that be the case.
This screenshot though is also just the perfect summation of this entire show. It visually, this show is ugly. There is no contrast. Like occasionally you'll get like 10 seconds of like, oh, they spent all of their money on this one shot and it's 100% CGI, so it looks gorgeous. There were, like some of the exterior shots of Khazad Dûm look really good, and some of the Eregion looks gorgeous, and some of the some of the landscapes, but you can tell they didn't. These are fake locations, right? They've CGI'd them,
Right.
and then you get into the meat of the show, and it all looks like this.
Yeah.
Even the scenes in Lindor looked like this. You can't see anything.
Yeah, it's really dark.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's all monochrome, gross. Just there's no contrast.
I do want to get back to the main plot. However, to add to your point, obviously this is all just like dulled over and looks really terrible, but if you go back to the previous image of the Uruk-hai, the funny thing is, even though it looks like that dude fell out of Rosie O'Donnell's ass, look at how bright it is.
Yeah. It's because it's lit well. These diversity hires don't know the first thing about lighting a set.
Yeah.
Look, I'll pull up the episode and just take a random scene. I'll just click on the timeline and try and
It's
share
gotta be
it.
dark. Yeah.
You can't see anything in this show. We talked about Sauron. We didn't talk about Sauron as a goo yet.
Yeah. We're still in the
We've been jumping around because
orcs ish. Yeah.
he gets
We've got
betrayed
to
by
his
orcs.
terrible speech.
He blows up just like the movies. They're really, really trying to tie this to the movies. He blows up, and except this time he has ice powers.
Yeah. See what they did? They explained in last
Remember
season
the
why
ice
his
powers at the
fortress
beginning
was
of
frozen.
season 1, 2, where they were looking for him up in the snowy area, and he did ice things there for some reason.
I think that's what they were trying to
This is
explain.
that location.
Okay.
He's the reason Forodwaith froze in a massive frost nova, and yet somehow not a one of the guys who was point blank got frozen like the T-1000.
In fact, it showed in season 1 there were orcs that were like frozen to the walls or something like that, right?
Yeah, it looked like they had become part of the stone.
Right.
I don't know if that was ice. So they they said they did dark experiments.
Not only that,
But when they get to the fortress and betray him, And we still don't know when this takes place. Did it take place directly after Morgoth's defeat, or was this years and years later? Like, if you actually take this at face value, Galadriel missed Sauron by a day. He was right there. He turned into goop, and then turned into Halbrand, and then the next day it shows him sleep once, build one campfire, and then the next day he runs into the guy who takes him on a ship where he crash lands and meets up with Galadriel in the middle of the ocean.
Galadriel could have started so much sooner, you know? We could have had Galadriel going so much sooner.
So did this happen just now? Did this happen 1,000 years ago? Either way, it breaks what they established in season 1. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of like terrible timeline management, because they also mentioned, I heard it going back over one of the scenes, because I was trying to listen to some details with my lady, and when we'll get to the point, but Elrond is talking with Gil-galad about like the rings and how they're bad, and he mentions that apparently Celebrimbor worked on them for weeks with Halbrand, and it's like,
oh no, and then Halbrand has a line. He's like, look, when you've worked with someone as closely as we have, you guys talked once.
Yeah.
And he suggested, hey, have you ever tried mixing metals? That's a novel idea that you've probably never heard of.
You should make something that you can wear. Maybe something a little smaller than a bracelet.
Yeah. Yeah. Sauron doesn't know that they made 3 rings, and then except he shows up and talks to Celebrimbor in episode 3, and he's like, "Oh, so you haven't heard? The rings worked." How does he know that? It's literally, and taking aside the stupid, like, it breaks canon. He's not even supposed to know the 3 rings exist. Okay? Because they were made last, in secret, by Celebrimbor, who saved the freaking day.
It's also backwards, because the 3 rings are made, not
they're
the
made last.
9 or the 7.
Yes. And the fact that he's making them specifically for dwarves and specifically for humans doesn't work either. He made them for elves. And then when he made his 1 ring, he put it on, and the elves were like, oh no, someone's trying to get into our minds, and they pulled their rings off. They were too smart. Well, they were tricked, but they were too strong-willed to be mind-controlled. So then he wages war on Eregion, sacks the city, finds 16 of his original 19 rings, and redistributes them. Gives 7 to the dwarves, 7 to the humans. But he's making them with the intention now of giving them to humans and dwarves. It's like all these people have seen are the movies.
Yeah.
It's like they read the spark notes of the books. Like, this is it's just basic stuff. Like, yeah. So I got mixed up and thought that Celebrimbor, not Feanor, made the Silmarils. Okay, but if I was getting paid $1 billion to make a TV show, I would go and reread the Silmarillion and make sure I got the right guy.
They didn't have the right to read the Silmarillion, though. That's the problem.
Never mind that. Just use Wiki. Like, just use Google and get
yeah, exactly.
David has the other point, which is they don't even have the rights to the actual Silmarillion, right?
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
It is the
But
appendices.
they still could read it though, and make sure it lines up. But yeah,
But all they know is that the 7 ended up with the dwarves, and 9 ended up with the humans, and 3 ended up with the elves. Like, they don't know any of this history, and it's completely messed up. And also the fact that in Galadriel's vision, Celebrimbor, in her dream, Celebrimbor is quoting the poem about the rings.
Oh yeah, I caught that too.
Before the poem exists.
Yeah, there's a bunch of flashes where
The poem was written after Sauron did all the corruption. They're like, hey, 7 of them ended up with the dwarves and this and that. And they were never intended for... They were all intended for elves. And yet Celebrimbor is quoting the song, the rhyme.
the quote. The quote.
Yeah, 7 more. Yeah.
Yeah, they really blow their load early with a lot of things. Like, I don't know if you caught it in the flashing of the dream sequences, since we're on that. Did you see Gandalf's staff?
Yeah.
In Gandalf's dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, they show
Yeah, his staff directly from the movie is just
Yes.
there, and it's just like, well,
it's when the stick
obviously
is
this
turning into
Sauron now.
the stick is turning into a bunch of different sticks. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a stupid
Yeah, it's so dumb. Oh my god, I hate the freaking. I hated them.
they literally pulled off.
Yeah.
They literally, unironically, did the Rise of Skywalker dagger again.
Yeah.
Oh, the wandering song that we mentioned in season 1, turns out it's a key to help us get through this very specific part of the map that
That we've never been to before.
they're literally, we've been here, but we're going in circles. We've been here before. They use the same dialogue.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense when it's done in the Peter Jackson movies, right? And in the books, they're in a part that literally feels like a maze. It's a bunch of jagged rocks that it's like a labyrinth of rocks, and they can't get their bearings because they can't find any landmarks. So they're going in circles. And here they're in a flat desert, and for some reason they're still going in circles. And the only way they can find their way out is by singing one of the Harfoot's old songs that just happens to coincide with this area.
Yeah.
And they didn't notice before until Poppy or whatever like that. That is her only freaking. It's so goddamn obvious that was who was following them when they were like.
And they capture her. They capture her with a burlap string tied to a rock this big, turned into a tripwire.
Yeah.
They
not
tie a
like
string
it's
around a
on the
rock
ground.
and pull it on the ground, and she trips and falls over it.
There's no tension, and if you go back and you actually watch
It's loose. It's loose.
She doesn't actually trip on it. When they cut to her tripping, she's like a foot or two past it, and then
Yes.
just falls forward.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
It's so bad. And then they rip off the the hiding in plain sight thing where Frodo throws his cloak over Samwise, right, and pretends and the cloak looks like a rock because it's a magic cloak from the elves, right?
cloak.
It's supposed to blend in, and it was also really dirty, so it looked like a rock. And then they show you that, wow, that looks like a rock, and then he pulls it off, and you're like, wow, that's a really freaking cool special effect. That looked awesome, and it makes sense that they wouldn't have been found. And then Poppy and I don't give a crap about her name.
Fake Irish.
They're
woman.
hiding behind a burlap sheet strung between two trees, and the guy's pointing directly at it and doesn't notice. And I was waiting for the reverse shot where they showed you that the hiding place was, wow, it looks just like it blends right into this. They don't show you their hiding spot because it's so retarded.
Because a burlap sack is different than an elven cloak that is designed to hide you.
You
It
can
has magic properties that should hide you.
It was a burlap sack in between rocks.
Oh, it's two
And-
rocks.
And
Yeah, so it makes
and-
less sense.
yeah, and the rattlesnake was about to strike them. It wasn't looking at the guy who killed it, and the guy looks down at the snake, and then he looks at the sack, and he just stares, and he's like, eh, and he walks away.
And also,
kind of weird.
Also, Gandalf wasn't even hiding. He was just crouched behind a tree.
Yeah, Gandalf does some weird, like when they're trying to catch the person who's following them, which is their friend or whatever. He's like crouching down behind a rock so he's not seen, and then he stands up to his full height and just like walks casually over the thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not how you sneak, bro.
But we've skipped way ahead. We gotta talk
Yeah.
about Sauron turning into a goo.
Yeah, so Sauron turns into spaghetti.
Yeah.
Well, so I actually think I'm gonna drop out because I haven't seen it, so I don't have anything to add other than just continuing to be just
Yeah.
flabbergasted. This
Strap
I gotta
on
check
your
it out
boots.
so I can see how awful this is.
Check
know
it.
me,
You're gonna laugh.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild. It's
Check my
absolutely
video.
wild.
My video.
Okay, I
I
want your
always
blind.
want to hang out for a little bit, so I'm going to get out of here so that I'm not worried about the spoilers, but I also figure I can't contribute anything, so I'll get out of
Okay,
here.
I want your blind reaction to the.
Oh.
Do these look like elves to you?
Oh. Yeah.
No, I mean almost more than half of the elves last season did. almost, which
Wait,
is
what,
but-
The one guy in the
Man.
blue front and center kind of
I've been waiting 20 years for this. Elves of every kind, they just blend right in. Even the Indian guy who's taller than everyone else.
that
Why
has
is it
nothing to do with the fact that this just doesn't look
The guy in freaking overalls.
then
Like,
overall. Yeah,
There's
the guy
there's
in
no
blue in
like.
front looks good.
I don't like him. He looks
That's the
gay.
thing is
He's
I
like,
look at
why
him,
is his
yeah,
chest
he looks
open?
Good,
Hey,
but then
Legolas was friggin' gay, bro. Legolas
think-
I
was
think
gay,
this
too.
guy in the back looks good,
Sure.
Yeah, he looks actually like
It
a,
really
This
is
one-
the
this one looks
color
good, too.
correction
They
for
didn't
this.
even put elven ears on this guy next to him.
but
Yeah.
the black guy
There's
just
no-
has regular ears. Yeah,
That's not even. They didn't even try.
and then these
the
two
way,
with the little sparkly headdresses on or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
looking like the never-ending story princess.
So
he
Galadriel's
looks more
ears.
like from
Yeah.
I was covered with hair. They don't have to do the makeup. But you guys see the close up of the ears. This show.
They're
They look
huge.
they're thick.
Yeah.
They're so thick. They just look so plastic and
What
rubber looking.
is the guy doing in the background? All right, so you've
Here
got
we
the
go.
middle one here.
This is what I think of when I see
Yeah,
Say my name,
that's a good call.
the childlike empress,
So-
maybe.
Okay, so you've got the middle one here with the open chest.
Uh-huh.
Just above him on the right, in the way back. What is that face?
This one.
Oh, the guy
No,
that
no.
is like,
No,
Oh.
to the left. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Oh god, I'm
It's
in this
actually
show.
regarded.
That's
Yeah.
an extra who just took a big long hit of his vape and wasn't ready for the. Okay, we're rolling. Okay.
wow, that is. I mean, like I said, it
Even, like,
almost
this is-
better than last season, but barely. And
This
I
is
don't
in Lindor
think
too.
more.
Still can't see anything.
yeah, and it,
Like-
it really is. Yeah, there's no
And
contrast.
that's the
there's
other thing too.
nothing.
The costumes too. They don't look worn at all. I mean, I
And not
know
even
these are
that, because
supposed to be
okay, elves maybe don't need to look worn, but
But I mean, if you look at
cheap.
the
They don't look-
original movies,
They at
They
least
still
look
have-
lived in.
yeah, right.
They
It
look
doesn't
like
need
you
to
said,
be
like
dirty,
costumes.
but
They
it still
look
needs to look
really
lived in,
thin
right?
and
It still needs
cheap in a way that isn't nice. Like, okay,
Yeah.
far left, you just see the arm of somebody. I'm like, okay, that almost looks like it could be an elvish sort of thing. But guy with the open chest thing there, like the cloak that he has on, looks like it's like the thinnest like fake felt thing
Well,
ever. And I'm like, that just
You
looks
look right under
like
his
a
chest
cheap mouse
slit.
costume.
You look right under his chest slit. That's the natural fold of the fabric that you get from the store that's folded up. They unfolded the fabric, sewed it onto a thing. You can see the crease lines coming down and coming across his stomach. Like
That's what
how
happens when you
frickin'
sign up as
lazy
the
can you
wrong
get?
gender
This is
for
like
a role.
this is like on-screen high school musical production quality of
Yeah.
theater
Wow.
costuming that you can find. Like it, yeah.
Wow. All right. I got to see this train. I mean, because again, that last season was not great either. But wow, this is
My wife was in musical theater. She did musical theater productions. She was in the costuming department doing things. So she's naturally, her eye goes to these details, and she can see like unfinished seams. She can see all the creases and everything. And she points them out. It's like, yeah, good call. That looks awful.
it just
But
looks.
I mean, to the untrained eye, they're like, oh yeah, they're fancy clothes. They're elves.
Yeah, and they're not. Oh goodness. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys have fun talking about the rest of it. I will try to make sure I can contribute next week, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Thanks for
You guys
joining.
post- but have
I'm
fun.
not going to stay on
Terror,
much longer
all the rest
either.
of it.
but-
All right, later, buddy.
Yeah.
See you, Jared. Yeah, let's get through the rest of episode 1 at least, dude. Because so Halbrand turns into a goo. It's just so stupid. He just flops around like a
The scene of him
like he
flopping
flopped over
the
that rock. Like, oh my god.
And then he slides down the face of the mountain just a little bit.
Oh, I gotta.
It's just like, oh god, now I have to go down the mountain.
Yeah, it's so dumb. And then okay, so I don't understand. Again, this is another timeline issue from season 1 going into this season, right? So at the end of the last season, he's Halbrand. he is, he travels to Celebrimbor, convinces them to make the 3 rings. They find out he's Sauron. He leaves. Apparently now he turns himself into Adar for some reason.
For no reason.
To tell him that, hey, I've got info on Sauron. You should let me go. He's alive. I'll give you some information on him. And then he shows back up at Celebrimbor, not in disguise, not as Adar, as Halbrand. And again,
He doesn't turn into Adar. He shows up. Adar's the corrupted elf.
Not Adar. Sorry, Anatar.
Anatar. I hate how they're pronouncing Anatar. They're pronouncing both N's. They say Anatar.
Anatar?
Yeah, I hate it.
But
Yeah, the
but
N drags on.
what the hell is his
No, there's
deal?
a glottal stop. They go Anatar. Like if there was an apostrophe in between them.
That's weird. But yeah, seriously, why did he go to Adar? And why did he come? Yeah. It's just so stupid. And then sliding down the mountain.
Like, oh, finally.
Hundreds of years? Like what is the timeline here?
Who knows?
We don't know. We
They
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah,
They-
because
they
Galadriel was looking for him for like 200 years, right? Like something
A
like that.
thousand. A
Thousand?
thousand years.
Yes. After
Yeah,
the war.
They did not at all take any time to explain this, which is stupid because I would have I would have been fine if they just put up like a time frame of like X year
Yeah,
first
exactly.
age, X
They-
year
yeah.
second age.
They show him get betrayed, which we don't know if that was 1,000 years ago or 2 days ago. He turns into a goo, goes down the mountain, flops in front of the road, sucks
It
up,
just so
sucks
happens
on
to
an
be-
old lady,
Yeah.
turns into Halbrand. They show him go camping once, and then he runs into this guy who invites him on a boat, and then he goes on the boat, and then it gets shipwrecked, and then he meets Galadriel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and-
for some
And
reason,
then they have the audacity in episodes 2 and 3 to have Elrond chastising Galadriel, saying, "You don't know what Sauron has planned. Maybe he planned for all of this." After they showed you that
His entire
he's been
thing,
a
yeah.
goo for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
He was thinking, no, you don't understand that the goo was thinking.
Again, can
Fortune the
Oops.
3 rings.
oops, who did I hide? I hate. Oops, that was a
hit
mistake.
me.
I was trying to hide the screen. I'm sorry. Can you see anything that's going on in this scene? It looks better on my TV. I've tried on my computer. Watching it on my television or my phone, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Really.
If I watch it on my TV, it's on my computer. It's a little bit brighter.
It looks like something out of Titanic. And even Titanic was better lit.
I think the funniest thing about like the sinking of the ship here is because I just got done marking this down for like the script. He gives that Leviathan thing a hard glare and it stops, but he couldn't fend off the orcs.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
Like,
he,
this is the
he
same-
controls the direwolf. He controls the beast.
ward.
This,
Or Karagor or whatever you want to call it.
but he can't mind control the orcs. That's literally how he
That's what I
it's
was thinking.
because
that's his thing. Is
Yeah,
mind control.
I was
It's because
thinking,
they're
like, why
trying to
did
say
it
that the
come to-
orcs are people too. They're not creatures. They're not evil at heart. But
They have a
you can
conscience.
control the
they
beasts.
have-
But the orcs aren't beasts, apparently. But yeah,
So-
it's so dumb. Also, when he meets up with Adar again, I really don't want to go back and watch season 1.
He was in Halbrand form.
He was in Halbrand form, but he met up with him when Adar was like pinned in a barn or something. He's like, "Don't you remember me?" Didn't he reveal who he was?
Yeah.
He asks the question because
You're right.
somehow after Galadriel chases Adar, who's pretending to have the ignition key for the mountain,
Uh-huh.
and somehow he gets ahead of the two of them, trips the horse, and
Right.
he's about to kill
Uh-huh.
Adar.
No.
And he asks, "Do you remember me?" And of course, Adar says no. And it's like, hold on. So, I just wrote this down too.
I forgot
So
about that. But
He
yeah,
says this, not not a week ago in this show, and then in the orc camp, he says Sauron's back, and Adar doesn't go, "Huh? I wonder if he's you.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe since he can take form, he could be this guy that's now playing all of these sides.
This
like
guy who just said
Sauron
that
did.
I should remember him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I could have
It's
sworn
just
though
like-
that after they captured him on the horse and tripped the horse up, they had him tied up in a barn,
Yes.
and Halbrand confronted him there too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because Adar
So-
explains that he killed Sauron, and Galadriel's
Right.
like, no.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah, he
I
says,
don't
"No, you
understand
didn't."
what they're going for here. It was implied in season 1 that he already revealed that he was Sauron to Adar, but then all of a sudden he shows up and he's like, "I've got information on the Sauron. He's not really dead." And they're like, "Well, how do you know? You're just some random dude who's the supposed king of this area." But it's just so weird. Like, what? They can't even keep
Yeah.
their internal.
Him giving up to Adar, I was almost punching my screen when I see him go to Adar and tell him whatever, and then he gets captured.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything. Like, he just gets beaten by this random old man that was in season 1. I don't know if you guys remember that. That's the guy that was helping. That
Yeah,
was
he's the
like-
one that turned on the mountain.
Exactly. That was the
It's
guy
like
that was really
they're
mean.
turning Sauron into like a clever rogue, right? He's just like misunderstood. He doesn't want to be a villain. He just wants to heal Middle Earth, and he's not completely good because with the wicked smile on his face when he hears the warg eat the orc when he leaves or something. So he's slightly sadistic, but he's an anti-hero, guys. He's not a villain. It's like,
You know what's funny?
He asks
have
him
to
right
wait
after he catches up on the horse. He trips
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He's reaching for the sword and he stabs his hand with a spear and says, "Do you remember me?" And he says, "No." And he's like, "Perhaps it was a mother. I killed your mother or something."
Yeah.
Then there is a scene later where they're in the barn. It's Galadriel saying, "I will hunt you down and kill you and fillet you alive," because that's what we want from a Galadriel character.
Yeah.
It's not,
funny?
It's not
That
Halbrand. She's the one torturing
Sauron-
him in the barn.
Sauron in the show has a way more sincere smile than Galadriel. Like when Sauron smiles, it seems like he's having fun. When Galadriel smiles, it seems like she's gonna freaking deport you. You know?
He's always smiling at the most like inopportune times. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, like he could see you smiling. Like,
Yeah, like when he bends, when he gets on the ground and swears allegiance, and he starts smiling, and like Adar's like,
I
love you,
didn't
dude."
say to Adar. I
Yeah.
said to the Lord of Morgoth.
so stupid. Yeah.
I hate that entire thing with Sauron getting beat by this whole and yeah, he does that thing, and then the Harfoots is boring.
The Harfoots didn't need to exist in this episode.
Yeah.
They could have
Oh.
entirely been saved for 2.
They did
Yeah.
another thing here that I cannot stand in modern cinema. It's a movie trick that they used to do back in the olden times when you wanted to shoot for cheap, but they shoot a scene in pure day and then just
Day for night.
turn down
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
turn it down. It's
Yeah.
day for night.
But they're
shot,
not
right?
even doing that right, though. They can't even light those scenes well.
It's so bad. So some of the
Color
scenes
correction is
with
horrible,
no
yeah.
Nelf, you can see there's huge light.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Yeah, the scenes where it's at night
supposed to be
and everything's
nighttime.
blue.
Yeah,
They're doing day for night, and they can't even do that right. Yeah.
it looks so bad, and it's like they did this better in the 70s, dude. Like it was a good passable technique at the time.
I still
We all
think
know it. It looks
You can look
bad.
at Jaws.
Don't
The
do it
opening
anymore.
scene with
I think it worked in Raised by Wolves because it was supposed to look funny. Okay, it was supposed to look
It's supposed to
otherworldly.
look like an alien world. It does look a little bit off-putting. And to be fair, with Raised by Wolves, I really only noticed it in the first couple seasons. Then it got a little better.
But they also made it look good.
Right. Again, it was an alien world. It looks a little bit weird and
It works in a lot of movies. Like it does work. Back then, it did work really good.
Okay, so then after we get Halbrand's backstory. It cuts to a chase scene between Galadriel and Elrond, which is completely ripping off. And I put a little bit of it in my first video. I'm going more in depth in the second one. It's completely ripping off the chase scene from with the spicy elf lady from
Arwen?
Arwen running away from the Nazgul.
Yeah.
They literally pull off the reaching for the.
Oh yeah.
That looks like I'm fingering the camera.
And then when he gets back to
No, like it's like shot for shot ripping off that entire chase scene.
Yeah, but even that they didn't do it correctly with the direction, because you cannot even see their face. You can it's so messy.
Also,
It's like a 2000 movie.
why are they having a chase scene?
Yeah, there's a ton of context.
Season 1 ended with them both being on board making the rings.
right, and this doesn't make any sense. This is another criticism that I have.
And the fact that Galadriel doesn't tell them that it's like she knows that that Celebrimbor is like is friends with Halbrand, and all she says to him is, "Trust me, he's a baddie." She doesn't even say that. She just says, "Don't treat with him." That's all she says. She doesn't tell him he's Sauron.
Yeah.
Galadriel is a moron. The only reason the plot exists for all of season 2 is because Galadriel's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to side with Elrond. I don't want to side with this guy. He looks like
they are framing him as the bad guy, and he's 100% right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's looking at the back at it. I'm screaming at the screen. He's right. He's right about everything.
Yeah.
He's correct.
No. He should be wrong because the 3 rings were supposed to be made in secret, and Sauron doesn't even know they exist.
They're still trying to go that route, though. They're like, "Oh, his influences."
No, because because Sauron somehow knows that they took his plan to make 1 ring and changed it into 3.
Yeah.
They
say that in the episode 1.
There's no way that he could know that information. But he meets up with Celebrimbor and says, and he brings it up. Like he knows what they did behind his back.
Yeah. The other thing that bothers me, too, is the High Lord King Elf or whatever. I don't forget his name. Gilgalad, yeah. and all of last season, he was
it's pronounced Gilgalad. It's Gilgalad. Gilgalad. They double pronounce every syllable.
What was his whole thing last season? He was reprimanding Galadriel for insisting that Sauron was still alive. And the first words that come out of his mouth are, "This is all your fault. Sauron is alive because of you, Galadriel." That's literally what he says, and the whole time
it makes no sense. It's all just 100% manufactured tension and it makes no sense.
Two things that I wanted to touch on earlier about that I actually kind of sort of like, but I'm reserving judgment. First, they hardcore reined in Galadriel, but they overcompensated and turned her into an absolute moron.
Yes,
because instead of being the firebrand who was like, "I'm right," like she should be jumping around like she was selling tumbleweeds, like they called me crazy, like. But now she's just a shy, timid idiot who's getting talked down.
Yeah, it's suddenly her fault.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, Gilgalad is now acting more like a king.
Yeah,
it's like you withheld this information. You have caused these problems. I'm keeping an eye on you. Like,
you're right.
I'm not
that
bad.
Part makes sense.
Except that both Galadriel and Elrond should be court-martialed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Same with the random lady who slaps King Muriel. Queen Muriel. She assaults Queen Muriel, and there are no repercussions. Are you freaking insane?
She's a woman.
They wanted to show the queen being passionate and turning the other cheek, but like, that's like an assassination attempt. Like you don't have Secret Service tackling her to the ground?
They were about to run her through before she said stop.
Like
That was so brain dead.
you-
Like when Muriel
all-
is so mismatched. Like
Oh.
she sometimes is a ruthless.
all because volunteers, a couple volunteers died. It wasn't even Muriel being warmongery. It was like, hey, these people need our help. Okay, let's go help them.
I don't even want to
It's
continue
because
watching the
there
show.
was a
Like,
tempest in me decided to say,
There
hey,
was a
give me your
tempest.
boat so that we can go and beat them. And then she's like, all right. That was it.
Yeah.
I hate. We're skipping ahead too, but I hate what they're doing in Numenor. How the downfall of Numenor is racism instead of covetousness and human sacrifice.
yes, and MAGA. Don't forget
Like
MAGA.
they want to be like they should be worshiping the Palantir. When they find out that Muriel has one, they should be, oh man, why aren't we using it more? That's Numenor's entire thing, is that they wish that they were the elves. And they go so far to obtain the elven's immortality that they resort to human sacrifice to try and become immortal. And God punishes them. But now it's racism. Talk about not understanding nuance. Okay? The left's
Talk about
favorite
not
word is
understanding Tolkien.
nuance. And yet they can't understand a plot that basic that they have to pervert it.
All right, I have one more complaint about episode 1, and then I'm out because I haven't seen
Okay.
the other ones. So we complained last season about the depiction of the elves and how they don't look elvish, at least not Tolkien elves. They look like Christmas elves, right? And elves are supposed to be ageless, immortal beings, and Celebrimbor looks old and decrepit, or whatever. But at least none of them had beards. Until now, there's an old elf with a beard.
Oh,
for
but
some reason.
he shaves it off in the next episode.
Does he?
Yes.
I don't care. He doesn't look like an elf.
Kierden actually is supposed to have a beard.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But he's also like
I
the
stand-
one of the oldest
Yeah,
elves.
he's like an ancient elf.
He's actually still so from like throughout the events of the Silmarillion all the way through the end of the Lord of the Rings, he's in Middle Earth. So he's thousands and thousands of years old.
Yeah.
He's older than every other elf in Middle Earth.
Gotcha. I didn't know that Tolkien elves could have beards.
Sauron is Hexus from Ferngully. I haven't
And
seen that movie.
it's
in so
really
long.
frustrating too because well, first off, they can't even pronounce his name right. I don't know if you caught this, but his little assistant is like Círdan, and then
Círdan,
Elrond
yeah.
comes in and he's like Círdan, and I'm like, oh, it's just why can't we do this?
Isn't it Círdan? Isn't it?
There's a flare on the I. I don't remember if it's Kier or Seer.
Oh, sorry. It should be Earden. We have to pronounce the I 7 times. Earden.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be clairvoyant too, and that's just not a thing.
I love that his arc was, I don't want to do this. Oh, I want to do this, and that's his entire arc.
Oh,
This
he crosses a line.
this sounds dangerous. Oh, these are pretty. I like. That was it. That was his arc.
This is the power to control other life forms. You're scared, rightfully so, that we shouldn't use this power. But don't worry, we're going to use the power correctly.
We're the good guys.
And it's just like, oh, wow, all right. They just Marxified every elf in this show. I'm done.
Oh, David, this is episode 1. With Nori and Gandalf in the desert. Oh no, we don't have any food, and she's literally wearing a crown of olives in her hair.
Oh yeah, all her friends have acorns. Yeah,
and then it was very on the nose when they showed him making apples, making trees grow in season 1, and now all of a sudden he can't control his powers again. And and instead of apple, he doesn't fix the tree, he makes bugs, and it was like, oh okay, so this is we're just really, really leaning into the New World
he can't
Order, right?
control his powers after the big moment of him controlling his powers and blowing away Feminem and the other acolytes.
Dude, when
Everything,
Yeah.
like they just reset a ton of progress, like the
Yeah.
opening of a Metroid game, just so they could do the things that they're trying to do. It's just asinine.
That's a really good metaphor.
Yep.
But like the fact that it's bugs too was very like on the nose. Like this
They will eat the
show,
bugs and they will like it.
yeah, you'll own nothing, you'll be happy, you'll eat bugs. This show, it's not about making money. It's literally about the message, guys. Cultural Marxism. I've been saying it for years.
Yeah.
And then we get the wolf
All right.
scene, was actually wasn't terrible. I mean, the acting was terrible, but like it was actually, hey, they picked up a real thing from lore. Student goes on a boat. Blah blah blah. Oh gosh, look at this. Okay, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, that somehow is what
Look,
Poppy trips over.
but it's tied to a rock.
2 rocks. You can
The
see the one
side-
in the background.
That you could just walk straight through that.
Yeah. That would pull the
Those
rock.
aren't big rocks.
The one that's partially obscured by the
It's
cloak
bigger.
there is bigger, but the one on the far side, yeah, you could just kick that rock and it would roll
That's
away.
smaller than my hand.
This thing
It's
couldn't
less
trip
than an inch.
Biden,
How do
and
you trip
somehow
on that
she
thing?
does.
They couldn't trip Biden. Oh man, that's good. But also, even if it did trip, it would just rip. It's string of burlap.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
even
you
rip.
just
It would just
pull
go
it.
with her.
They
She'd be like,
just
oh,
pull
I
it.
stepped in a
Don't
shirt.
you walk-
Uh,
He was
as-
walking.
so Círdan sails out for miles and miles to drop these things off on the edge of the ocean, and it takes like 10 minutes, and he's still within like the mountain range, and I guess that's where the oceans are really deep.
Yeah.
He has a change of heart. Blah blah blah.
Wait. He has a change of heart because of fish ripped ass. Did anyone else catch this?
Oh, and fish farted. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's just sailing along, and then out of nowhere, there's just a burst of water that like rocks the boat, and he's like, "Oh, these are rings. These are pretty." And then he turns around. It's like, "What?"
Because it accidentally opens up the bag, so he sees it.
Yeah. Also, we're supposed to believe he's going to sail all the way out to Beleriand and dump off the rings in like the lowest possible trench with no food or water.
He sails for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses the wind against he sails against the wind because he's leaving the harbor.
It's hilarious how these people don't even understand the wind. Like they don't understand how the wind moves.
The episode ends with them putting on the rings. It's so cringy. And then they heal the tree, and then they all
And the lights turn on.
they all show their new engagement rings to the girls. And they hold on this scene for so long, you can see their hands start to shake.
Shaking.
It's so funny.
Yeah, just so that's Círdan's hand on the top, Galadriel on the right, and Gil-galad is in gold. And just watch the hands.
They're like, wait, dude, I'm getting tired. Are we still doing this?
I bet that the director it was burst in flames. Like he was so mad that they couldn't keep their hands straight for like a minute.
It's so ridiculous.
I want to know how
especially
many.
Galadriel, which she is young. Like she's like 30 something. Like she shouldn't be. Like she doesn't have Parkinson's disease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the other guys are older.
I don't remember what their different powers were, but it wasn't
Fire, wind,
control.
and air.
Yeah,
Fire,
it
wind,
wasn't
water.
control over the beasts. That's what the one ring was for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Vilya is air, Nenya is water, and Narya or Varya, Narya, I think.
Nerd.
Yeah, that one's fire.
It's more
Certainly wasn't to
interesting
heal
that
some
way,
magical
like,
tree.
the elements or whatever. That is more interesting than just being the one ring.
but he makes a bunch of fish jump out of the water, so you know they're special.
Maybe they'll do a flashback episode and that wasn't a fish, that was Schmeagol trying to get the 3 ring before the 1 ring.
Yeah, he was so tired of not getting the ring, he evolved.
Yeah.
He did evolve to a freaking fish.
And then, yeah, so we're gonna start. I love how they had to show you all of the different. Remember all the stuff from season 1 that you definitely didn't rewatch, and they do that before the episode starts, and then in episode 2 or 3, I can't remember which one it was, they show you all the previously on this show, and then they roll the credits, and then after the credits, it's another flashback because you still are not going to remember. I think it's episode 3. It's showing the kid's dad, Numenorians. My brain is not working anymore.
Is Isildur or
yeah,
Elendil?
it's Isildur, Elendil. It's showing Elendil and the horse. Yeah, it's the episode that opens with the horse.
Oh yeah, when Beric.
So you already get 10 minutes of, hey, I'll remember all this stuff from season 1, and then they roll the title screen, and then it's another flashback. It's not anything new. It's the same scene from season 1 where he's letting the horse go.
It's because they didn't resolve that. They just ended it in season 1.
And then it's 10 minutes of just the horse walking around, trying to find Isildur. No, yes.
Isn't Beric the horse that died in real life?
I think so. Yeah. It was more than one horse, dude.
Yeah, it was.
They killed one horse in New Zealand.
Yeah,
they killed one horse in New Zealand. It may have been 2. And then they left a whole bunch of ecological disasters as well before they were kicked out, and they killed more horses in England.
Yeah, and then the one award that the show actually got, which was for being so clean and green, and
we talked about it
they're
last week.
banned from going back to New Zealand because they made it such a mess.
Yeah,
And it's funny because if you watch the sets that are actually built, you understand why they were doing such a environmental disaster, because it's a waste of everything. It's a waste of resources. It's a waste of money.
They left a huge styrofoam rock in New Zealand.
It was the ice cliff from the first episode.
The Venom symbiote. Wow. Jacob.
Anywho,
It really makes you laugh when they've killed so many horses, and then in the last season when the pyroclastic flow happens and that horse runs by on fire, and you're like, I wonder if that was real.
I wonder why so many horses die. Yeah.
Oh man, I think they might have scrubbed that from the internet. The award that they got, because I can't.
Yeah,
find it.
I'm looking for it now too.
But we talked about it last week. It was
Yeah, I remember that we actually saw it. Like, we saw the article.
Yeah.
I mean, the notice on Twitter, right? Like.
Yeah, I brought it up on the show.
Yeah.
But now I can't. Google's hiding it.
They do hide that kind of stuff. Like they actually do.
I can look for it in my email though.
I would imagine. Oh well, hold on. I think I got it here. From Garbage. Workers accuse Amazon's rings of power of environmental damage in New Zealand. This is from November 10th, 2022.
Oh yeah, no, I can find those. I can't find the one where they got the award for being green.
Wasn't it on Twitter?
Maybe.
I could have sworn you showed it was on Twitter.
Yeah. It was a publication on Twitter, a tweet or an X or whatever it's called.
I don't know. We already talked about it.
Yeah.
David, go.
But they may have deleted it.
Or unless you want me to talk about the articles you sent.
Got it. Environmental Media Association, the EMA, Gold Seal for Sustainable Production.
That's what it was. Sustainability. That's the word I couldn't remember.
And then right underneath it, the first one is Nerdrotic. Exclusive. Locals complain Amazon's Lord of the Rings set is damaging Crown Estate Forest.
Yeah. Especially the sustainability word. The sets are not sustainable at all. Like, they,
Oh,
I don't think they
you know
recycle.
what set was actually sustainable? The Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings films.
Right.
They made the cast like backpack to locations sometimes, and sometimes they could helicopter in. My favorite story is Boromir. I
Staying
can't.
up to get that
Sean
one
Bean?
shot in the morning.
No. Sean Bean was scared of flying, and so he backpacked up a cliff overnight to get to a location because he didn't want to go in the helicopter.
Well, there was another one. They had to get this one shot
That was Aragorn
at dawn.
Fishing.
Yeah.
So he stayed up all night fishing and caught a bunch of fish and was just drinking beers and fishing with like
And the rest of the
the cast like they felt left out, so they just hung out with him.
Yeah. I love that story.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I'm out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
Finish talking about the rest of the crap episodes, but
All right.
bye.
All right, have a good night, buddy.
Yeah, I'm probably heading out too because I haven't watched the two. I haven't watched the second and third, and but yeah, by the way you talk about them, I actually want to watch them because they are so bad. I'm gonna have a laugh probably, and maybe I do more parodies. But yeah, I don't know. It's not doing that well, but who cares? I just want to do parodies because it's funny.
Mm-hmm. Not because Sean Bean loved the Earth. No, but like they respected New Zealand. Like they're loved there. They didn't completely destroy it.
Right.
Yeah, it's hilarious. The Rings of Power is just such a mess. And it's
before
hilarious because I genuinely think that this season is gonna get like even half or less than half of the viewership that the other season got. Definitely, they are literally abandoning the project. I think they are actually abandoning the project, and I don't know if they're gonna be a season 4, maybe a season 3 because they probably already signed contracts or whatever. I don't know if they're going to be something.
I think we're guaranteed 3 seasons. Yeah, but
I thought they signed on for 5.
Yes, and last week they said unless it gets so bad we get canceled.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was 7 seasons. They signed on for 80 hours of television or something like that. And so it's supposed to be 7 or 8 seasons. I can't remember of what they signed up for. And they've been saying, oh no, we're doing that. And it was just last week they started saying, well, unless. So, but I think they've already started season 3. I don't know if they started filming it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they already have like contracts.
We're guaranteed to get at least 3 seasons though before they reevaluate. Yeah.
But they are definitely going to reevaluate after season 2. They're going to say, okay, season 3 finale, whatever, do whatever you want. And
man, I'm losing my voice. But before you go, this one was interesting. Just idiots on Twitter.
Oh, I remember
they're really trying to push season 2 because it could get canceled, right? And so they're trying to say, oh, all these people are lying. They're saying that they're saying the Tolkien estate isn't involved in Rings of Power, but literally no one's saying this. No one is saying this. It was sold to Amazon by the Tolkien estate.
Yep.
And oh, but the people are lying. The Tolkien estate is super involved. They just did an interview where they talked about how every week they call them up and make sure they're not doing it. And you're like, no one has said this. This is like the biggest straw man. I think I commented on this one.
Yeah, you did.
I did, yeah. No one's saying this. We're saying that the Tolkien estate has sold out for money. That's always been our position. And then they have another one where they're talking about Simon Tolkien. Everyone's saying he hated his father. And this is a lie. He had so much respect for him. Again, we're saying he sold out for money. But Simon Tolkien actually did kind of hate his father. He didn't say it in so many words. But he did say this. My problem with the Peter Jackson films is that they were too faithful to the books. He put too much into it, and so there was too much going on. Rings of Power definitely doesn't have that problem.
Okay, this guy is a moron.
I would have liked more character and perhaps following its own course. I would have liked it better if we didn't follow the books.
I don't like that there was too much going on, so let me add more characters to make sure
So-
more was going on.
He praises the Hobbit movies. I wanted it to be more like the Hobbit movies, which are objectively worse.
Yeah. And boring.
I get some people like them. I didn't. I like parts of them. I could watch the scene with Smaug any day,
Yeah.
right? Of him just talking with Bilbo. It's fantastic. The movies
I
suck.
actually love the third one. I really like the third one because that is probably one of the last movies that I watched with my father in an actual movie theater. Yeah, it was. I fondly remember the third one because he said, and I quote, "Oh, this one is not boring like the past two."
It was Simon Tolkien's idea to sell to Amazon, and his pitch was, I want you to make Lord of the Rings be like Breaking Bad. I want Sauron's character to feel like Walter White.
Oh my god.
I want him to be relatable and slowly descend into darkness.
Walk
And-
around in tidy whities.
And also, he pitched, which we're supposed to see this season, one of the orcs is going to be modeled after Mike Ehrmantraut.
What?
We're gonna get like a fixer orc. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that makes no sense in this sense.
Yeah.
Like in this.
So in this case, we are saying that Simon Tolkien hated his grandfather.
Yeah, he sounds actually not bright. Like he sounds like he's a moron.
Wealth only lasts 3 generations.
Oh, that's the last generation. There's no more.
Well, generally speaking, because you have the first one that makes everything, you have the second that respects it and carries the legacy, and then about the third or fourth generation, there's no more discipline or understanding, and so it falters.
Walter White is the main character from Breaking Bad, the chemistry teacher who turns into a drug lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mike Ehrmantraut is an assassin fixer guy for the bad guys.
Then, wow, is that why they hired Jennifer Hudson to work on Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Probably.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Sauron has always been evil.
All right, guys. I'm gonna
Okay, peace
let
out.
you keep talking episode 2 and 3. I hope you don't die, and please watch my parody. It's fun.
We'll probably rehash some of these next week too. It's 3 episodes.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. I'm trying to skim through and see if there's anything. I visually groaned. Yeah, okay. So episode 2 opens with the dream sequence with Celebrimbor talking to Galadriel, and I physically just started. Like, he quotes the poem, and I was like, no. He's quoting the poem that hasn't been written yet.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Later,
All right.
buddy.
Great week.
And then there's a council scene that's horribly lit and
Yeah,
homogenous.
just about everything in every episode drove me nuts, and that's like, I'm still reserving judgment. Like I said, like I appreciate that Gil-galad is acting more like a king, but he's making dumb decisions. Like I trust you to go after Sauron, but also at the same time, I don't trust you to go after Sauron, and you need a chaperone.
Right,
Elrond,
like-
you want to do it?
If anything, we were like, oh man, I'm so sorry that we didn't listen to you, that I tried to ship you away, and it turns out you were right. It's a bummer that you got tricked by the guy that you were looking for, but now we know, so thanks. Like,
and they're trying to turn it around and make it seem like she's been tainted by him since right after she jumped off the boat to swim
how do you know
across
that
the
he
ocean.
didn't convince you to jump off the boat?
Yeah.
when they showed us that he had nothing to do with that. They gave us an opportunity. They showed us his backstory, and all his backstory showed was Sauron didn't plan any of this. He's been a goo for 1,000 years, I guess.
Yeah, he's just been winging it this whole time, and then they ended up in the situation.
He's literally he's an opportunist. He falls into the herald. I can't believe that the heraldry is a bag, like
yeah, a bag
necklace,
with a pin,
a bag necklace.
And the whole time, this is a detail that really frustrated the hell out of me.
Uh-huh.
When he's coming out of the water after he stares the 9-9 Leviathan in the face and scares it off because he winks at it, and then right when he breaches the water, there's this like uplifting, like brass and string section. And I'm like, why is he the hero? We're not supposed to be like cheering on.
Oh yeah, no, there were
Prince of Evil.
There were parts where they like the score was rooting Sauron on and actively like crapping on Galadriel. There was a scene where Galadriel like actually makes a good choice, and it goes bam 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 bam, da, 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 and you're like,
which scene?
I can't remember. It was probably episode 2. It was ridiculous. He sends one messenger to, hey,
it's not one messenger.
This is it's 2.
Yeah, it's like 2, and then they just get iced. That I hated this. I hated that we were doing this instant teleportation shit again because we were. I thought, oh cool, he's gonna send.
They've already teleported between Khazad-dûm and Eregion 13 times.
Yeah, and this season, like, okay, you're gonna go and tell Celebrimbor that this is Sauron and explain the situation. No one, don't trust anyone on the road. Go. And I was like, okay, cool. So he's gonna go from like Lindor to or Linden to Eregion, which is like a day's trip, not even. And then Sauron from all the way from Mordor ends up in Eregion first. And I was like, there's no way
Ridiculous.
That happened.
It's the Galadriel's an idiot.
She never told
it's this
anyone that he's
manufactured plot that only exists because they just decided that Galadriel was going to be a moron this season.
Why does and
I forgot to bring
assumes. This. Oh, go ahead.
I forgot to bring this up when we were talking about Galadriel. I'm really mad. I saw an interview on X, and I forgot to send it to myself. And I've been searching for it all week, and I haven't been able to find it. But there was an interview with the showrunners, who said like, what surprised you about season 1? And they're like, oh man, what really surprised us is how many people were shipping Sauron and Galadriel. And one of them, like, I can't remember. I don't know which one's J.D. Payne and which one's Patrick McKay. I don't care. But one of them turns to the other and says, "Yeah, he told me you said before season 1 aired that people were going to ship them, and I didn't believe you. But man, you were right. Like they didn't plan on that happening. Like they literally have that scene where it looks like she's grabbing his wing, right? In Numenor, where they embrace and he hands her the dagger, and it looks like like they're like, you're shocked that people picked up on the thing that you tried to do. I can't believe they're enemies. I can't believe people would ship them. That's what, but that's all season 1 was you trying to get a fan base to ship a relationship. Like, it was so obvious that that's what they wanted from the beginning, and they were trying to act surprised.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can find that scene.
I get really frustrated by...
Because now everyone's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Trust me, it happened, okay? She grabbed his wangy.
The overcompensation that I mentioned about earlier with Galadriel, I'm not that I'm trying to harp on it, but like,
it's good.
It plays so hard into episode like 1 through 3 that it frustrates the hell out of me. That because like if they overcompensated because of how much she was hated for season 1, I get why they did it for that. However, now it doesn't make any fucking sense at all in
because
series.
and that was my biggest problem, and everyone was arguing with me from season 1 is like the season 1 was so stupid because Galadriel was insufferable the whole time, and but she was also right, so she was never going to learn anything, right? She was never going to grow as a character because she was right. And now they're trying to have this like repentant nature, but it's not earned because she was right.
Yeah, she's super shy, incredibly timid, and for some reason, she's not harping on all of this, saying, "Listen, you blamed me for you sent me out for like 200 years or 1,000 years or whatever. You didn't trust me, you didn't believe me, you turned me into a social pariah in the elven world, and now here I am, and I'm correct, and you have the gall to tell me that I screwed up."
Look,
It's like
I'm not crazy.
they made it so inconsistent. It drives me nuts now.
It shows them together and they go in for a hug, and he whips out the dagger and puts it in her hand, and she's like, "Oh, what's this? I thought we were just watching Netflix." I mean, come on. I'm not crazy. It was a thing.
Yeah, because how did he get a hold of the dagger?
I can't remember, but he's giving it back.
She
to her.
dropped it because
It's supposed to be a big reveal. Yeah, he saved it for her, and it was supposed to be this tender moment, and it's like it's so obviously sexual. You know?
Yeah. And Dane, you're absolutely right. A lot of his like his entire plan. This is why I said it earlier.
It depends on
his
Galadriel.
entire plan is in.
It depends on her being a moron.
Yeah, exactly. Everything just happens to line up. For some reason, she does not inform, because that's part of the context is missing. Because like when you jump over to Elrond and Galadriel like ripping off Lord of the Rings, we don't have any context. Because I went back and I actually watched the end of the episode, episode 8 or 10.
Yeah,
or whatever.
so did I, because I was so confused.
And
there's so many things that just jumps ahead, and you're like, I don't. When were we doing this?
Yeah, it's like he just grabs the
When
rings.
did Elrond get the rings, and why are they in a chase scene? Right?
Yeah, but she doesn't explain that Sauron is back, because she should be blowing on the horns of
She wanted to be blowing something.
Yeah.
I've got the scene.
But she wanted to be blowing like the 7 trumpets of like I was right. But they don't do that.
Look, okay.
Just don't trust him. He's not a trustworthy person anymore. And it's like,
here's the full scene.
How?
Look. Oh, we're being so tender. We're being so tender. Oh baby. Okay, I thought it was longer than this.
Wait. Go back for just a second. So hold on. He's obviously holding the dagger
behind his back.
Left hand. No, not even behind his back. It's on his left side. Go back like 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he's holding it.
It's right there.
Oh, I guess he could be, hiding it, behind his arm.
Oh, what? Under his sleeve?
No, just perspective, right? He could just have it,
Yeah. So he's
holding it. He's holding it like this.
Yeah.
My chapstick. Okay. Oh no! I have a better visual aid here. I have a sword. Okay. He's holding it like this.
Yeah, something like that.
Towards her.
Yeah. Tip in hand.
Got my little Nightblood letter opener. Okay, it's so funny though. It's whipping it out. It's the surprise.
It's hysterically convenient that nobody in that entire crowd happens to see him hand her a weapon in the chamber of the queen.
Like, what is that supposed to look like? It's round at the top. It's the epitome of, oh, I thought we were just chilling. Whipping it out under the blanket,
Mm-hmm. feel
He
the power of
puts
my will.
puts it in her hand too. Oh, it's too good. Okay, episode 2. Gosh, we just jump around so much because there's just so much filth. It's impossible to follow this show organically, you know?
Yeah. So episode 2.
The messengers
And-
get killed on the road by probably barrel whites, I'm assuming. That's what... I don't know why they're dragging them with chains.
I bet it's that fixer you mentioned.
It's Mike Herman Trout, the fixer.
Or
But also, like,
47.
we've seen everything that Sauron is doing, though. Like, how does he know all of this stuff? He doesn't. It's just him by himself. He doesn't have any allies in Adar's camp, and yet he knows so much information that he's canonically not supposed to know. He knows there's 3 rings. You know, for last he knew they were making 1. He knows it's changed to 3, and he knows that Galadriel didn't rat him out for some reason, and he knows that there's being a message sent to Lindor, and he knows it's vital he intercepts that message, or otherwise Celebrimbor's going to know the plan. Like, it's so stupid.
Well, think about the logistics for that for just a brief moment. So, Sauron and the messenger leave at approximately the same time, at least by what the show reveals to us. So the guy should be already in a Region, unless this dude decided to just fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
And then the problem is, it's not that he killed the messenger, it's that somebody else killed the messenger. So somebody else knew the messenger was on their way to a Region, and Sauron doesn't know about this.
It's
doing
stupid.
another episode. Oh yeah, we're only on episode 2. We watched all 3, Dane.
We've jumped ahead frequently to episode 3, though.
Yeah.
We've jumped around.
So, what's the first thing that happens in episode 2?
Episode 2 starts in
mountain, right?
Mount Doom.
Because Khazad Doom collapses.
There's a ground shake.
I like how they can't just say volcano.
Or earthquake, right?
There's a fire mountain.
A fire mountain and ground shakes.
I feel like I'm watching
the dialogue is so bad. They're trying so hard to sound old-timey, and then they'll just throw in a phrase randomly like, "Why are you mad, bro? Like, what's risen?" And you're like, you're just so you can't do this naturally. You're so bad at it.
Well, that's like the worst line in the episode, though, and that came from Galadriel.
Yeah.
He played me like a harp to a melody that I did not agree to. And it's like, just tell us you want him to finger blast you, you know?
He fingered me to a tune I did not consent to.
It's so bad. Like that's not like
I mean, he did whip it out, and she wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, that's like that. It's like whenever somebody tries to be really fancy and they say, "Oh, I will always remember you in my mind's eye." It's like obviously trying so hard to replicate the old English dialogue.
They've used another phrase too, like supposing this isn't so, a couple times, and you're like, I mean, it's not even grammatically correct. You're just trying to sound old timey. Like, supposing this, you're like, finish the sentence. Supposing this, then what?
Yeah, well, that's that replication. That's the attempted replication of the old style of writing.
And they're incapable of doing it.
But they aren't from that era, so they don't know the phrases and the flow of the language. And so by trying to replicate it, they're coming up with. It's like the writers just open up a thesaurus and they're like, okay, what's a synonym for volcano? Fire and mountain.
A middle earthquake. That's too good, man. Episode 2 starts. So there's an earthquake, and Durin straight up tackles his wife. She's already on the ground. My favorite part is she feels there's there's a rumbling in the rocks. Hey, everybody, take shelter. I said take shelter! Like, well, you whispered it the first time.
Yeah, of all of the people that would feel a vibration in the mountain, it would certainly be her fat ass.
I know, it's just, she starts yelling, she's mad at everyone for not hearing her whispering the first time.
Yeah, while they're all talking in the middle of the food market.
But, like, she's already on the ground. I can't skip between, maybe I should pull this up.
Yeah, and then he tackles her to cover her, but if things are gonna fall, then you're both dead. It's like,
Right.
good job.
He
Dylan.
literally just linebackers her, just like
Yeah.
just plows into her. You're like, I think you hurt her more than the rocks could have.
Yeah, I find it so funny that it's like all of that like by the end of season by the end of season 1, I called him Durin the Dim, and then I'm just like, I have to revoke it and call him Durin the Dim-witted again, because like why would you tackle your wife when rocks could fall on you and kill both of you?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They again, in this dream sequence, I literally could not see what was happening. I had to pull it up on 3 different mediums just to try and see. It was so bad.
It's like they took the red filter from Stranger Things and just cranked it up.
Yeah. And then they talk. Who gives a crap? He shows up, and I'm not allowed to treat with you. I don't know why. Galadriel swallowed the fly. Perhaps she's a moron. And then we get the spicy Feminem back.
Yeah, this whole thing out east in Rune, every time this kind of stuff happens, I just want to check out, because I care so little.
Well, and then the stupid map thing, the song map, and also the when she has that line, hey, she randomly has it's charted. She pulls up a map from the book. And she's like, "Hey, if we go this way, we can cut our journey in half." They don't even know where they're going, though. Like, he's literally just wandering because he saw it in a dream. So how does she know that it will cut where she doesn't know where they're going. She doesn't know what to cut in half.
I also hate that so like it. Do you remember 300?
Yes.
So, like they used that same rock set was they used it in like 3 or 4 different angles.
Yeah, they showed it from a bunch of different angles though.
Yeah. So
it was pretty,
Yeah, so the
most of the time you couldn't tell.
Yeah, so the Badlands that they're wandering around in are the exact same thing. They're up on an elevated, almost plateau, and they can overlook all of these things. So instead of just walking in a straight direction, somehow these idiots walked in circles in a desert. Like, how do you do this?
I know it's because they want it. They're trying desperately to tie this to the movies.
Yeah, and
because they wanted them to get lost.
Looking dude.
They wanted them to get lost, and I hate that they're using the line. They used it in the first season that not all who wander are lost. Like it's a good thing, when it's literally referring to Smeagol.
Yeah,
he's wandering around looking for trouble, not wandering around without a purpose like these retarded Harfoots.
Yeah, and so here we get...
And they can't even get that line right. They say, not all who wander are lost, which makes even less sense.
Yeah.
It's like all in the trailers for this season really pissed me off. Because they're trying to sound Tolkienian. And so they say, darkness will bind them. Mm-hmm. In every single trailer, darkness will bind them. Again, that's not the line. It's in the darkness.
And in the darkness bind them, yeah. But they also...
What does darkness binding them even mean?
That's why they're trying to walk away from everything that they did with the first trailer. Remember how her father was like, "We gotta love everybody with our hearts as big as our feet," and everyone just rolled their eyes collectively.
Also, I have no idea how this behemoth caught up to them and still had bread in her backpack. Like
She looked like she'd eat a loaf
Gandalf
every
and
step.
Gandalf and not Frodo knew they were going on a big trip and ran out of food, and she caught up with them, having to make double time, and somehow still had food left. Ridiculous.
Also, this is
They were
this
giving
is the
each
same
other
one. You go ahead.
They were giving each other so many lesbian eyes in this episode too.
There's actually a moment in the what's to come part of the episode at the end of episode 1. I'm telling you, I guarantee Poppy ends up in a lesbian relationship.
Well, they've said it. They've said you've already seen LGBT characters in season 1.
There were also
someone at FanX or Comic Con asked him, "Are we going to see LGBTP representation?" And they're like, "How do you know you haven't already done it? You've already seen it. You just haven't seen it."
There was also a hint in, I think it's this episode. No, last episode when Gilgalad is singing to the elves, and then they put on the rings and the lights turn on. And it's like there's two female elves, and like one of them like grabs the other's arm.
Sorry, say that again.
So like when Gilgalad is singing, and then Círdan brings the rings. It's like in the middle of the middle of that shot when all the elves are reacting, like, oh, they turned the lights on. It's like there's like two female elves that like grab each other's arms. And it's I suppose they could just be like, wow, look at, this is great, awesome. Like, I suppose, but it's like, I can't, I don't believe it. I don't trust it now.
They're hiding.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Look at the texture.
It's a burlap sack with holes in it. And this is supposed to camouflage you like rocks. I'll see if I can. There was like a split second where you saw a portion of it from the outside.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't, like, bringing up this kind of imagery, this nostalgia, it doesn't work if it's garbage. It just makes you feel sick instead of nostalgic.
It's just like I said with Alien Romulus. Just because you do something again doesn't mean it's good. You have to do it in interesting ways. Otherwise, it's just an eye-rolling moment.
See, and I thought that they did it in interesting ways during Romulus. Not this.
Yeah, all of this is like, it's the same thing. It's all the same problems with Romulus. It's just more and more of the same. Hey, do you remember this? Hey, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Remember how everybody hid behind cloaks?
There's no way.
Oh,
I don't want to get dinged, but I have to. If I skip forward manually, it'll only do certain segments. It'll jump.
You can try to line it up.
Well, I'm trying to play it, but I don't want to get dinged, so I'm playing it off screen.
I gotcha. You could also
I should pull this up on DaVinci Resolve is what I should do.
Well,
and then I could get frames.
EFAP, Mahler. Mahler usually puts a filter over things.
Yeah.
And that way it confuses everything.
Look, this is what he was looking at. It shows a close-up for a second.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look at all like The Rock, and yet somehow
it has even netting. A tree.
It has netting, and he's just like, and walks away. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Oh, there's like a split second of a wide shot. It's a curtain between two rocks, and he didn't see them.
Yeah. And I like how they try to like somewhat play it off like, oh, well, there's a bush, that green bush on the right. Well, obviously, like, it looked like a bush to him. It's like, no. No, it does not.
You know that they had footage. They had this wide shot of them coming out and realized,
it doesn't
yikes.
Look like a rock enough. We have to.
We gotta do a close up, guys. We gotta show them coming out in a close up, because it doesn't work. And it immediately, like that shot where you saw the whole thing. Yeah. It immediately blurs her out, so that you don't see how bad a hiding spot it was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they have to hide everything.
It's just juvenile. Also, I'm super confused at what's happening in Khazad Dûm. When all the lights went out because of an earthquake, after the earthquake stopped, there was no more rumbling, and all of a sudden, the tunnels started collapsing. But it was just visual. There was no shaking. There was no sound. It was just lights turning off, and you're like, wouldn't that also accompany like rocks falling, caving in these light tunnels? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And also, why after the lights get turned off, they have to get rock singers to find new paths instead of they already have light tunnels. They're just filled up. Just pull out the rocks.
Yeah, but you can't.
They said you need to find new paths. Why not just clear the old
reuse
paths?
the same ones. Yeah.
And then it shows the scene later with Durin trying to clear a path, and he says, "Another dead end."
So just keep mining.
But there can't be dead ends in a previously carved tunnel.
Yes. Yes.
Dead ends wouldn't exist.
They should be.
It would just be
mirrors.
another cave-in.
Yep.
You know it just it makes no sense.
And remember how easily they smashed through the rocks, because we already saw this in season 1. It's like they were using axes,
Yeah,
like actual wood axes to cut a rock in half, and for some reason they can't quite dig through everything. And then on top of that, I just realized this. For some reason, Durin is getting blisters and having a problem.
I don't know.
But he did that challenge with Elrond.
It's like this. Did you watch The Acolyte?
No, I did not.
They randomly put in scenes in The Acolyte of the green lady character complaining about space travel because it makes her sick. And they brought it up like 13 times, and they have other characters bring it up like, hey, I thought you don't like space travel. It makes me dizzy. And you're like, and it never led to anything. And they had random characters addressing it, and you're like, but what is this for? Him getting blisters felt exactly like that. I was like, yeah. I don't know what's going on. And this was my favorite shot, though. This
it's so funny that like she causes the collapse, and I don't know why. Like the mountain's just like, no, shut up, and just collapses in on itself again.
The mountains, why have they lost the mountain's favor? Because they're not strong anymore? Because Durin and his dad are fighting?
Yeah, none of it makes sense.
Like it's trying to imply that Sauron is responsible for this, right? Like in episode 3, they're trying, like, Elrond says, like, Sauron's doing all these things, except they've actively showed us him doing nothing.
Sauron's on his own. Everything that's happening is being attributed to him, but he has done nothing. I don't like how I don't like how this also like ignores all of the wars that happened, like Khazad Dûm's formation. It's like, did they just not? Were they just not able to commune with the mountain when they carved it out?
I don't know.
Yeah, so she ends up failing, and apparently the dwarves are just unable to mine through the mountains now because they're just pansies.
They also actually gave the women facial hair in this season because everyone was mad. They gave her teeny tiny little sideburns. All of the women, yes.
There was one.
This is just the best freeze frame.
That has a. There was one in the food market that actually has a beard. I could be wrong because they all look like men, but yeah, no, I'm not impressed with any of this.
It's ridiculous. I love this. Ooh.
All right, so what happens after they fail?
She is just the worst actor. I hate her acting so much.
I still don't understand. Did they ever answer why she has gold fingers?
No. It's just an aesthetic.
Yeah. I don't like how she's like also talking down to everybody. Like, because none of the female characters can do anything wrong.
Also, in season 1, she was like evil. She was like
she was manipulative.
She was like sneering at the camera and trying to manipulate. And then all these characters have all flip flopped. All of their opinions from season 1 have flip flopped.
Mm-hmm.
It was Durin wanted to dig for Mithril and the father didn't, and now it's the opposite. Now he doesn't trust. And we got no reason. Absolutely no reason for him to... Oh, I guess no, they gave the reason was Anatar was speaking on behalf of Elrond, and he's like, Elrond wouldn't say nice things about me. I don't trust him. Okay, they give a reason. It's stupid, but it's a friendship reason. They can't just show them being friends. They have to just tell us that they're friends.
Yeah, well, it's because they also started off with them being at odds, which made no sense.
None of these storylines are connected in any way either.
Oh, this really drove me nuts. I know Elrond is supposed to be like carving a boat, right?
Yeah.
But it drove me like I wrote down the note.
He's using a planer on like a mammoth tusk. Let me see if I can get it doesn't make sense what he's doing.
Yeah, it drove me nuts because like he's just barely nudging it forward, and I was like,
yes.
I
had the exact same thought. I was like, what is? He's not doing anything.
Oh, my note was that he's trying to. He sands this thing about with as much effort as a eunuch masturbating. It just drove me nuts. It's like he's just moving it like half an inch each time, and he just couldn't care less. It's like the actor was just like, "Screw this, I'm done."
It's the wrong tool, though. Like this is like the centerpiece, right? This is the mast.
This should be the front.
Right.
It should be the bow.
Yeah, the bow, right? This is the big. It's a little bird thing.
Yeah,
it's got a little right. He should be using like chisels to carve out the structure, and instead he's using a planer on a curved surface.
Have a good night, Jacob. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Good night, man. I'm going crazy. He's using the wrong tool for the job.
Yes.
Like there's still bark on this. Like that needs to be gone first.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, you're not going to be using a planer like that. You'd be using sandpaper or chisels, like it. Planers for flat wood. It's fine. It's stupid.
Yeah, and the whole
I've been watching a lot of woodworking videos on YouTube of like people making like river tables and epoxy tables and stuff. That's when I was sick. Anytime I sat down, I'm like, okay, I need to get the next episode, and I would just like, but I'll just watch one woodworking video first. And then I never got to the episode.
So in that scene, she's trying to. Is that the scene where she's trying to convince Elrond to
She's
join
saying,
her?
"Please come with me." She's like,
Yeah.
"I need someone to guide me. I know you don't. I know you think that I'm corrupted, and it's and she admits it. Yeah, they do turn her down. She's like, "Yeah, I probably do have a soft spot for him, which is why I need your help." And he says, "Piss off."
Yeah.
And then it takes an old man to say the exact same thing to him for him to change his mind.
Yeah, because he needs.
Oh, that's what it was. The moment where they played like ominous music was when they reveal, "You're not in charge. Elrond is." It goes, bam, 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 da, 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 and that's what it was.
Oh yeah, when
You're
Gilgalad
like,
says that
Elrond
she
is a good guy. He's the only one who's correct here.
I also just this is another detail that I kept telling my lady about. Is like I get really pissed off at the fact that the 3 rings, for some reason, have the influence over the elves of the One Ring.
Yeah. Before the One Ring exists, yeah.
Exactly.
She's already seeing into like Sauron's mind.
That was something I called, and I'm really worried about. Is because I paused it and I just like I rolled my hands through my hair. I was like, I'm gonna blow my temper if they give the rings the same connection to Sauron for the wielders as they did Elizabeth to Dracula.
Well, that kind of was the one thing that the 3 rings still had. Like, they didn't wear the 3 rings until after Sauron lost his One Ring. Because even though it wasn't touched by him, it couldn't corrupt them physically. It could still, if they wore their rings while he was wearing his, he could still get dominion over them. So
yes,
that was the one
something
that
like that.
so that was the one thing that these rings did have. They could only if he's wearing his One Ring. And so they literally say, we've got these 3 rings. They will, they're going to help us, but we can't ever put them on or he can read our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't ever they've never put them on until he loses the ring to Isildur.
Yes.
So I hate all of this.
Oh, I agree. It's all terrible.
But the mind connection thing, that's the one thing that's actually kind of accurate. If
the ring,
if the One Ring existed,
yeah, but
right? That was the whole thing. He made all these rings of power. Everyone wore them, and they were working great until he forged the final nail in the coffin. He slips on the ring, and everyone hears his voice saying, "One ring to rule them all." And fortunately, most of them had the willpower to pull them off.
Because
except for the 3 rings, which they knew not to wear, because Celebrimbor was suspicious of Anatar from the beginning.
Yeah, but now he
did not trust him, and that's why he made the rings. Because he said, something's fishy. I'm going to make these as a failsafe.
Uh-huh.
And they were the last ones ever created.
The Rings of Contradictions. Yeah.
I explained it in my video. It's like he stole Sauron's code. And Sauron wrote in some backdoors to his rings, right? So that he could, as the system admin with the One Ring, he could hack in and access the rings. And so, but he also corrupted them, right? It came with physical corruption as well. So Celebrimbor copied Sauron's code, so they still have the backdoors in there because he just copied and pasted it from Stack Overflow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the backdoors are still there, but because Sauron didn't touch them, they don't have the physical corruption power. But the backdoors are still there.
Yeah. Because
they were untouched by Sauron's hands.
Yeah, because it's the 9 rings take over the men immediately.
Yes.
The
dwarves are. It doesn't work. It doesn't physically corrupt them, but it does kind of drive them into greed and madness, which is
yes. And then the only ones who were just like absolutely not were the elves.
Yeah. Well, because they were smart enough to take them off. I'm sure if they wore them, it would have happened eventually.
Yeah, and it's not like the dwarves really could, since 4 of them got eaten.
That's a beautiful name. Yeah, some of the rings go missing too. He made 19 and he only recovered 16 of them. No. There's more than aside from the 3, 19, he wasn't able to recover all of them. I think he only got 15 back. I think there was one that some gets lost.
Well, he gets Well, there's seven. There's seven
Hold
for
on,
the
what's
dwarf.
9 plus 7 is 16. Yes.
It's
Okay.
16, and then
So there
the
were
three
more
from-
than
there's
19 rings.
There's 20 in total.
Yes.
Because of the one ring. But what ends up happening is there's 7 rings for the dwarves, but there was 6 of them that were forged. One of them already was. And then you have the 9 rings for the men, and
Yeah.
all of those are redistributed.
Mhm.
And that's what ends up happening. But then, like, most of the rings are lost from the dwarves because 4 of them are eaten by dragons.
Mhm.
One, I think, is lost in a ravine. Like, one of them just falls into the pit, sort of like Gandalf with Moria. One of them falls into a volcano. And I think there's like 2 or 3 that he manages to actually recover from the dwarves. I think the last one was like Turin the Second, I think, or Terran the Second, something like that. But yeah, no, this is like I don't understand why it's backwards. That's what I don't understand. Is like, why not like try to control the men
For
around
absolutely
the Southlands?
for no reason too. Like there's no reason for it to be backwards. Just incompetence or vitriol or malice.
Yeah, it's just absolute. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say disdain, but it's definitely a we know better than
Yeah.
Tolkien,
Yeah, yeah.
which is nuts to me. Like I could take a life lesson learning directly from Tolkien on how to write, and I could never master or compete with what he produced.
Never.
So Khazad-dûm is falling apart. Gil-galad orders Elrond to be Galadriel's boss, which is hysterical to me. What happens after?
Oh, they show Círdan controlling the fishes.
Oh yeah,
And he convinces Elrond because he literally gives he says the exact same thing that Galadriel said, but it works when he says it. Then it goes back to the desert, and they get the well. They find water. I actually kind of liked the contraption on the well that rings the bell. I thought that was a neat detail. When the bad guys show up, it was stupid, but I thought the mechanism was kind of clever. I'll give him that
mechanism activating actually made sense because the wood that holds the knot just stopped.
Yeah.
And the whole time it's like, oh no, we're so tired.
Look, it could have been executed better. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was a neat idea.
Sure. I really don't like that the guy comes in and he's like, "Oh, Dark Wizard, we're gonna do something that the acolytes didn't do. We're gonna threaten to kill the halflings." It's like
the best part about that
tried.
The best part about that is they've set these scouts to hunt them down, right?
Yes.
And then they find them, and then they leave to go report, "Hey, we found them." Well, where are they? Well, we lost them because we had to come here. If you're sent out to go hunt someone down, just do it. Why would they intentionally lose track of their prey to report in? It's nonsensical. And yes, their big plan is he won't be able to harm us because we'll threaten them. That would only work if you got to them first and didn't approach directly head on.
From one direction.
They know he's a wizard. So you need a bargaining chip before you can approach him.
Yeah. And they all line up like a bunch of Despositos, and then they go ahead and try to charge after him, and it's like, why didn't you go from the other side? Like, around, or in the back, or I don't know. How did you guys, like, obviously they all arrive when the bell starts tolling, but it's like, really?
They showed up real fast.
Yeah, it's like you couldn't show up like during them trying to get the water.
Blandolph is a great name. Yeah.
Yeah, this Saruman knockoff.
Ugh, and I
really hope he's not Saruman. It's gonna piss me off.
I hate this chick too. She's just not intimidating.
No, she's not, and she's the only one that got brought back too.
Yeah, there were two others. The Uber tornado. How shall the disco
pray with
Dude,
every fiber
they
of my
got
being,
yanked.
I pray they are impaled on every possible rock or branch possible.
I would love it if they were dead. I would it would be fantastic.
I would immediately just hack Nerdrotic Stream and be like, "Yep, you're wrong. Best show ever."
No, I would laugh for a good week, and then I would be like, I would like the show.
Oh yeah. I would instantly reverse my entire position.
Yeah.
Just instantly. Just be like, yeah, no, everybody's wrong. Drinker, you're an idiot.
Oh, goodness.
But
yeah.
Also, to be fair, they would all say the same thing.
I don't know how they survive. My last avoided logic. Thank you. I worked hard on it, and I've been sick for 2 weeks straight. So the next one's not done yet, but we're getting there. Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, they just walk up to him. Doesn't make sense.
They'll give him a moment to react too, because he's like, "Oh, we were just drinking water." And they all pull out their weapons, and they're like, "Oh." Like, just charge.
Oh, and then we get Celebrimbor making shiny rocks with the last of the mithril that he had. He comes up with the script that glows at... Look, I know that this is a word that exists. Moonrise, okay?
Yes.
But it's not an actual thing. The moon doesn't rise at night like the sun does at daytime. And she says it will only work at moonrise. No. It will only work in the moonlight.
Yeah.
You can, a lot of the time, see the moon during the day. It doesn't make...
I hate everything about this.
Why would you waste the last of your mithril on this? It's just a prototype for shiny runes. It's aesthetic. It doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah. I like how they constantly because Celebrimbor's like, "Oh, I've never made anything of importance," and it's like, well, yeah, obviously, you're just wasting mithril.
I hated and it ends with the 20 minutes of Halbrand seducing Celebrimbor and turning into
I despise. Jesus. Thank you. I'm so glad you caught that imagery too.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of book accurate. He's supposed to be a mess. He is pretending to be a messenger from heaven.
Yes.
But it was really on the nose.
Yes.
And again, his entire plans hinges on Galadriel being a moron and no one communicating, and then knowing that there was a message that he needed to intercept.
Yes. Everything. This is probably the biggest problem I have with Dark Wizard stuff in Rune is that all of these things are happening just to make the rest of the plot fall into position.
Yes.
Otherwise, none of this works.
Yeah. No, the entire story is being written backwards. They know where they want these people to end up at the end of the season, and they're like, okay, how do we get there? It's not because we can't use the canon. We're just bumbling in the dark, and then they get an invitation to Eregion. The dwarves do. That's how the episode ends.
We're referencing the door to Moria, Dane. because like that's because it has to be at night specifically.
Yeah,
is
shiny.
that's what they show in that's what they show with the mithril, is that it only works at in moonrise.
It works at moonrise.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about with the door and the thrush at a specific time in the morning when the light shines on the keyhole, or the light shines and the keyhole appears.
Yes,
because the thrush knocks.
Not hobbits are yeeted into episode 4. I hope they're dead. Like it just.
Yes. I hope so much.
I need water. Oh. I hear clanking upstairs. Yes. Yes. Oh, put a shirt on. Goodness gracious, like, thanks. Go. Thanks.
Sun for the save.
I sent a text saying, could you send the boy down with some water? But they were on a walk. I didn't know. So I kept saying, please, please. I just heard the front door slam. She closed. Like, oh, they were on their Sunday walk.
Nice.
Yeah, not just any moonlight, at moonrise, which isn't a thing. I know it's a common phrase, but it's not an actual thing that happens. Okay, episode 3. We get that other dwarf who's just like in charge for some reason. I don't even know who the other dwarf is.
Oh,
like Blackbeard.
Yeah. Army Hearty. Yeah, I don't know. Thrain or Narvi?
Narvi. Yeah,
Narvi.
That's it.
It's so dumb.
He comes in and says, I'll talk to the king. I'll talk to the king. Hey, king. Some people want to talk to you. Okay, send them in. Only to have his Durin watch. Like,
come
literally,
in, yeah.
the scene was written because they knew that they wanted to reveal Durin's finally deciding to talk to his father. But the setup for the scene makes no sense. It's just pointless dialogue so that you can end it in a reveal. But none of it makes any sense.
It's a misdirection because the context that they were just talking about like 10 feet ago was all of the merchants in the alley right before the king's throne. And then he turns around, he's in the room, and he's like, oh, they want to talk to you. And he's like, send them in.
But you just said that you were going to talk for them. I don't understand. When did Isildur's sister become evil? Is it just because the boy? Is it because she likes the boy?
I have no idea.
Between seasons, she's just in bed with Pharazôn. And willing, even after hearing her brother's best friend give that speech in the bar, willing to just completely betray her family. It's a shame because she's the only hot one left on the show.
Yeah, and then they
because they killed off boob lady off screen.
Oh yeah, baby mama. Brondir?
Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Bronwyn.
Yeah, so I think I don't think they killed her off because like they had a reason. I think she left the show after seeing the season and was like, yeah, screw this.
And she was one of the most mouthy ones before season 1. She was like, I'm an activist. I'm this, I'm that. I'm so glad I get representation on screen and we get powerful women. And she was the first one to leave. No, like it was very clearly a contractual thing. Like, no, I'm good. Even though this aligns perfectly with my ideology. I also would like a career, please. Thank you. Her and, the Game of Thrones guy who was playing Adar. The only good actor. Pieced out, man.
He is a different actor.
Yes, Adar's recast.
Okay,
he was.
I thought so. I thought he looked
in
different.
season 1 he was Benjen Stark. I don't know his
Gotcha.
real name, but yeah, his agent was like, "Nope, we are not doing this anymore."
Yeah, I thought
It was to pursue war activism. I hope you're not just making this up. Please be real. You're gonna make me Google it, and that's not something I want in my search history.
Yeah, Joseph Mall.
The best actor is Isildur's horse, who was killed in season 1 in real life, man. That horse is dead. She went to Iran? What the crap?
I need confirmation. You're not making this.
Okay.
I want confirmation. Let me find this.
Vamp. So the talk about episode 3. We finally get back to Numenor, and Farazan is plotting. So talk about that, and I'll Google
it. Okay, so we get back to Numenor, and Numenor is the entire idea of Numenor going apeshit is because the corruption happens deep and happens for a long time. Farazan ultimately turns everything around and makes everything worse because they want more power and they want to get greater, and they're sacrificing people like it's the Aztec Empire. And ultimately everything goes insane, and we're in the middle of all of that, and it happens like that.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, so the funeral is happening. Queen Muriel gets slapped. Can't see it coming, obviously.
It's she goes she Popeyes it,
Yeah, she like winds that up and smacks the cataracts out of her eyes. And, do you have it?
Yeah. Okay. So she announced her departure from the second season, and originally they were thinking it was just going to be one season and she'd be back. But no, never coming back. The report suggested it was for her advocacy efforts. She took to Instagram to clarify.
Okay.
And then where's the Instagram?
You could probably find her on Instagram.
Where's the where's the reason?
What's the actress's name?
I don't know how to say that. Nazanin Baniati. I love how they don't link to the clarification. Oh, she was in Ben-Hur. She was in the remake of Ben-Hur. Man, I'm really glad I didn't watch that one.
Oh, yeah, she's all about Free Palestine. Great.
Yay. They still have hostages, by the way.
Yeah, I know they do.
Oh, it's all Israel's fault, guys. This is the most worthless article I've ever seen. I'm going to find a better one. It doesn't tell you the information it advertises it has.
This new generation wants secular democracy. All right. Wow. All right. Yep. Everything about anything she says can go right in the trash.
What does that secular democracy? What does that mean?
Well, obviously she doesn't understand what.
Have a great night, Gustav. Thanks for tuning in. Is the rat?
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
Well, the rat only had one line, and it was.
Yeah.
He's going to be paid residuals for the rest of his short rat life. Am I wrong to root for the Ayatollah? I don't know, man. At this point, maybe.
It's just like my chat every time, like whenever I'm streaming Fallout and any of the subjects come up about the past when we were talking about Castlevania, and they're like, yeah, so slavery was great. And I'm like, guys.
Secular democracy. That's not even a sentence. I don't know what. Those
Well, I mean,
those things
obviously
don't go together, though.
they want like modern day secular. So basically, they want an
Oh,
atheistic.
wait. So they want democracy, but they want to control the outcome.
Yeah, basically.
So they want people to. So that's not democracy.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Oh, okay. So secular democracy is an oxymoron?
Kinda. Let's see. Secular
Democracy is not even a good thing.
Yeah, not relating to religion or a religious body.
No, I know what
Non-religious,
I know what secular means. I don't know what secular democracy means. It's a nonsense statement.
Yeah, I would imagine they're like either she's talking about like they want to get rid of religion in a democracy, or they want
that. But
well,
okay,
I don't know how that
okay.
actually. I'm as
that
lost as you.
then that's not democracy. Okay,
Yeah, I know.
The idea. Okay, look, the separation of church and state. First off, isn't a part of our Constitution. It's not an actual thing. Okay, it's a term that we use to describe freedom. It's erroneously used to describe how freedom of religion is a part of our Constitution. Okay, where we want people to be able to practice what they may. Okay, it doesn't mean separation of church and state doesn't mean you're not allowed to vote based on your morals. And that's what the left wants. They want, oh, I'm sorry, you're an elected official? You're not allowed to make decisions that coincide with your religious beliefs. That's not separation of church and state.
Yes.
That's not what it means. You can't say secular democracy and say, okay, we want you to vote, but if you're religious, you don't get to vote. If you have principles, you don't get to participate in democracy. That's not democracy.
Yeah, obviously, because they don't like democracy.
Well, I don't like to look, and that's another thing. I don't like democracy either. Democracy's bad.
Yes.
And the people who claim to like democracy want to control the outcome, right? They want fortified elections.
Mm-hmm.
We have to save democracy by removing people's votes.
Yeah. If you differ from us, you're not allowed to have a say.
Okay,
Yes.
if you didn't know this, the
Right.
United States is not a democracy. It is a constitutional republic, and that is by design. That's because democracy is actually an unstable form of government. There has never existed a democracy for very long. They
Yes.
always, in every instance they've ever been used, devolve into anarchy or tyranny. And well, it always leads to tyranny.
It always leads to
if you go, you
centralization
could
of power,
sometimes you
yes.
go from democracy to straight tyranny, and sometimes you go from democracy to anarchy, which then leads to tyranny.
Yeah.
Like,
Because there's always a power vacuum. Somebody wants to go and someone offers up the solution. Like,
Yes.
we can actually use this as a total parable to what's going on in Numenor right now.
it's relevant. I promise.
Because,
Okay.
Because Farazan is just
This
like,
isn't a
yeah,
political discussion. This is a nerd discussion. Okay. This has to
Yeah.
do with the politics of Numenor.
Yeah, Farazan, who happens to also wear red and doesn't totally in any way, shape, or form look like Karl Marx, wink, wink.
He's
Happens
so
to-
he's 100% Karl Marx. He is the T-shirt, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so he's like, how do we convince a lot of people to become enough people? And then Arian or whatever is just like, I have a plan. And it's like, oh wow, so she just went straight villain. Out of nowhere. It's like, what?
yes,
Why?
it's like, it's real bad. It's literally that's a bad T-shirt. I'm trying to pick. Where's a good Karl Marx T-shirt?
One is just like the side the side profile of Marx.
Yeah, they weren't coming up in red, but yeah,
yeah.
here we go.
Yeah, but this is why I called him Karl Marx before, because like I know what happens. Yeah, this. Yeah,
It's
like
Farazan.
It's also like the exact red he wears in the
Yeah.
show. God, Elendil. I hate
Name my sources. Have I read Aristotle or something? Yes, I have. Okay. Also, I paid attention in high school when we had
and
civics
history.
classes, and apparently no one else did.
Yeah.
I actually really appreciate my high school government teacher. He was a raging leftist.
Was he?
He's a whack job, and he was an amazing teacher. He was really good at teaching civics non-biased. It was impressive how much he kept his politics out of the classroom, which is a crazy thing to say about a public school. But he was a fantastic teacher. I loved him. So,
and the worst part about all this is that despite him obviously being a Marxist and taking everything over in Numenor, you know they're going to turn him into Trump.
yeah.
Like, I always knew that going to the Middle Earth, it was a bad idea. And believe me, I know bad ideas.
The Southlands aren't sending the best people. I can't do Trump without
sending the best people.
I can't do Trump. It just comes
Mordor.
off as Brooklyn for me. I don't know why. And I'm pretty good at doing accents. I can't do Trump.
Mordor's sending.
They're not sending the best people.
They're sending the murderers. and he'll end up using
they're sending their
elf.
Bronwyns and their what's the other I can't remember his name. Anyway,
you just know that it's gonna happen. It's like, look, why are we gonna trust the Queen? Queen doesn't even see this shit coming.
She's got a Palantir. It's not even a nice one. I've seen better.
I've seen better Palantirs.
I have, frankly, the best Palantir. It's Bernie. I sound like Bernie. I know. I don't know why I can't do Trump. Bernie Sanders.
Bernie.
I do sound
Bernie
like Bernie
Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. That's a good. No, I can do a good Bernie Sanders. That's a good thing. That's a bread lines. Bread lines. At least they had bread. Let them eat cake.
Listen, if
That's
we
a good thing.
all of the orcs to come out and they can help us, and it's a good thing because an open Mordor policy is a Numenorian conspiracy.
The elves. You know that he got. You know Bernie Sanders got kicked out of his own commune
Yeah,
for being too lazy, and he would spend all day writing sex poems.
Dude, at that time, man, I was a few steps shy of a full on Bernie bro before I started like noticing like, hold on, something's amiss here, and then I started doing the research, and I eventually voted Trump, and I never went back, and I got to watch all of my other Bernie friends just watch in abject horror as he betrayed all of them and got a new lake house for it, and I was just like, yeah, what?
The funniest thing is,
of course.
he would always go, the millionaires and billionaires are there, they're just ruining politics. And then he became a millionaire, and the billionaires are ruining politics because I sold too many books. I can't make fun of the billionaires.
Yeah. You can
I can't make fun of the millionaires.
Timeline.
It's just the billionaires that are bad now.
Yeah, he found you can find the exact moment in his timeline where he stops using the word millionaire.
That's when he became a millionaire.
and it's all because he broke that what's the highest bracket? It's like 675 grand. Because he sold a book in a capitalist economy, teaching people socialism.
That capitalism is bad.
That capitalism is bad. Everybody gave him his money, and on top of becoming a multimillionaire, he got a lake house from the Democrats. And it's like, come on, people, you complain about big government, and you voted for him twice.
For Farazan twice. We've been talking about Rings of Power this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. The totally not.
Oh, don't bring up Hassan, man. I can't go down that rabbit hole with his freaking tweets about the assassination, man. Oh my gosh, I've never been more ashamed of being a human being in my life.
Right. Yeah.
We've somehow gained viewers when we started talking about
Because we
politics.
complained about the social and retarded rejects
When I started doing the worst Trump impersonation of all time, we gained viewers.
Yeah.
The multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
I just need to shit myself
Champagne
in front of the mirror
socialism.
and get
Gotta
a
love
Trump.
it.
Anyway,
Yeah, so back to the Marxist takeover of Numenor.
right, Farazan. For some reason, Isildur's does she have a name? Isildur's sister?
Aarian.
I don't think
'Cause
that's
it's
right. That's not right.
It's Earin. It's not Aaron because there's like there's a semicolon sleeping over. No, there's
Oh, I was looking at the flashbacks. This is the episode I was talking about. Episode 3.
Oh, sure.
It's got like 5 minutes of previously on Rings of Power, and one of those scenes was showing the only hot person left in the show, Isildur's sister.
Yeah.
And that was part of the flashback. So it goes previously on, then it does the title sequence, and then it starts with another flashback of Isildur's daddy and the horse, Barrack the horse, and then we get 10 minutes of Barrack just walking around the Southlands, killing a bunch of orcs by himself.
Yeah.
And then just walking into a den of spiders and finding Isildur. I don't remember what happened to Isildur. I don't remember him getting captured by spiders. I thought he was captured by orcs, right?
I thought so too. No. Wasn't he laying like under debris? I thought.
I'll pull it up. So he wasn't in episode 8. Right?
Wait,
because episode
Abigail
6...
Shapiro. Oh, don't you're pulling my chain. The actress's name is Abigail Shapiro. I gotta find this.
She looks good. Okay, that's all I can say about her. Okay, so episode 6.
Go ahead.
Episode 6 ends with the volcano erupting, and then
No, it's Emma Horvath.
Okay, episode 6 ends with volcano.
It definitely would have been funny if that were the case, though.
And then episode 7 starts with volcano aftermath.
It would have been really funny if it was just like, actually, everybody, I have a Palantir, and I know exactly what it is.
I know.
Believe me, folks, my brother is dead. I'm a doctor.
My wife's a doctor, too. We're both doctors. Different kinds. It ends with... I'm trying to figure out the last time we see Isildur.
Yeah, everybody remembers this actress for exactly 2 reasons.
2 of them. It's both the same 2 reasons. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, everyone thought he was dead.
I am so positive he ended up like under debris and crawled away, and then just again, same thing with context. He just ends up in another situation. Like,
or no, I don't think it showed us what happened to him because they wanted us to think that he was dead. But then the big hint was the horse running off and thinking, oh, maybe he's not. I think they specifically didn't show us what happened with Isildur. Because it's a bait and switch. They want you to think that he's dead.
No, I thought I'm
skimming through the episode and I don't see it, but it's an hour long, so I could be just missing the frame of him that we got.
I think they actually showed it, but hold on, let me go to my channel because I know I had a pretty good joke that people liked. That was about this.
I mean, everyone knew that he was alive.
Well, obviously, he's Isildur
because he can't die.
Yeah, he can't die yet.
I love Sorry, I just saw Bronwyn still alive, and I love that she died off screen, and they have
Yeah,
to,
I
they have
love
to
that
ask
they
it
got
for the
rid of her.
audience. Wait, so what happened? It was the How did she die? She got stabbed. The knife wound. Yeah, remember when she got stabbed 4 episodes ago?
No.
That killed her. That killed her.
Arendir mentions that it was the
Yeah, it was
it was the sickness. It was the sickness that lingers in humans.
No,
and that's what killed her.
No, it was the stab wound. Because it was an orc blade, it got infected.
Is that
and corrupted? Yeah.
Okay.
That was. Well, it's been 3, so we got 2. It's episode 3, so we got 2 episodes of season 1, and of season 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, early
4 episodes. Of season 1. Where no, 5. It's been 7 episodes since she got stabbed.
Really? Early episode 7, they show the house.
5.
Early episode 7, they show the house framing collapse down on Isildur because he runs into the home, tries to save the girl.
Yeah. And that's the last we see of him. Right?
I'm looking. Because I think that's it. And they leave it empty. So they don't even go back and find out like what happened there.
Okay, Bronwyn gets stabbed no, it's not even a stab wound. It's an arrow. Because that's when they shove the entire fletching through her shoulder. Remember?
Yeah, because they can't pull it back because of the
and they don't know that you can snap an arrow in half. He snaps. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I'm watching the scene again. He snaps the arrow tip off, and then shoves the arrow the other way through.
Mm-hmm.
He shoves the fletching after snapping off the tip and demonstrating this can be snapped. He doesn't snap off the fletching and shoves the fletching through her shoulder. I remember having a conniption fit during this episode.
Yeah, I've gone through. No, Isildur disappears under the rubble of that house. At least in episode 7.
They learned from Rings of Power. Oh! I might have been getting that mixed up with Rings of Power. That is Rings of Power. She shoves an arrow through her leg. Okay, so maybe they did it better. Maybe I was wrong. Okay. No, they pull it out and then don't put pressure on the wound and let her bleed out. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. That's what they do. Oh, and they rub dirt into her. Oh.
Yeah, just like G.I. Jose.
Okay, back to... Okay. Yeah, I don't think it shows... Numenor. Yeah, it just shows him running into the house, helping the queen. She gets blinded. He disappears. They think he's dead.
Yeah.
And then
somehow he gets... You fast forward to this episode, and he's just in a spider cave.
Yeah, and the horse just finds him. And he's all wrapped up, grabs the orc's sword and cuts himself out, and then the orc's still alive. And gosh, this scene was so funny.
Gotta love how like the 100 spiders in that cave, all over that horse, and not one of them bites him.
There was actually a kind of, I don't know if it was cool or just funny, but it was something. The spider crawls up on Isildur's back, and he grabs it and throws it over his shoulder, and it yo-yos back onto him.
Yeah, because it holds on to him with
the problem was it was too dark to see what happened. I thought it looked to me like she squirts him and with spider web and shoots back But it just looked really funny of him throwing it and then bouncing back.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I sneeze, I poop a little bit. Yeah, that's a problem. The writers are a joke. It might have been a leg. It's just really, really funny choreography, man.
I'm pretty sure it's one of the forelegs.
Oh, man. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, I think it's like the
Okay,
front,
I got
like the
it.
front left leg.
I got it. Okay. You have to tell me what it is. Again, I just couldn't see it. So, but it's a little bit. It's a little bit easier to see on.
This is like watching Alien vs Predator Requiem all over again.
Gosh, learn how to light a scene. You can have a dark scene, but you need contrast, not whatever this is. Okay, so this is it. I love this. Woo! Oh yeah,
Nope, it is the front two legs.
But
yeah.
I kind of like that though. Like I think that's kind of fun.
I hate that this is like the only real detail that you enjoy out of all three of these episodes is a spider that just held on to his seal door.
It's not the worst choreography I've ever seen. It just felt bouncy. Tigger was probably having a blast. So okay. So spiders.
Yeah,
and then
so
Isildur's sister is just evil now.
Yeah,
and
for some reason.
She comes up with the plan to expose the Palantir because I guess she knows that Muriel's not going to let it be destroyed and it's going to out her as a filthy Jew lover. Oh, sorry, elf lover. Is that...
Free Numenor.
I mean, the show's not being very subtle about it. Okay, that's what this is, right?
From the coast to the sea, Numenor will be free.
It was on purpose. I was making a joke. Like that's what
from the Anduin to the Balerion. Be free.
Oh, how dare she like elves? They're so greedy. They have big noses.
Yeah, but they did this before though too, because in the first season they were very much against, because they were like, oh, the elves are coming to take our jobs, and it's like, what do you mean? It's one elf.
One elf showed up and asked for. She immediately wanted to leave.
Exactly, but then you have this, and they're as heavy-handed as possible because they're obviously leaning into it a lot, and it drives me nuts because it's like they're like obviously the people writing this are on the side of the activists and want a certain place
left the show to do more activism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so dumb. I hate how on the nose it is. It's just like, could we stop with this BS activism?
Yeah.
It's not actually helping anything.
Oh, we
it's
gotta
just making
watch
tensions worse.
We gotta watch this scene.
Oh yeah.
Is this how you treat? What does she say? Let's see. I'll listen to it.
Oh, is this how we acknowledge our dead or something?
Is this how you honor the fallen?
Yeah.
And she's like, it's a funeral. What do you mean? Isn't it? Look at this wind up though. It's so,
oh yeah, she's going in for like
she comes up the steps too. She's winding up while running the steps. And
yeah. Hey, there's the two reasons everyone remembers her.
Why can't I remember Isildur's dad's name? Because I'm sick. Elendil.
Yeah,
I'm
Elendil.
better at this, okay? I'm much better at this usually. I am not feeling okay. He's got his hand on his sword. She's like, she has to come up 5 steps for the slap, and he stands there and lets it happen. He's so bad at his job.
Yeah, he's not exactly on the ball with
But like,
guarding.
you're slapping the queen, and you're a filthy commoner. How is this a good idea? Oh, I guess, anti-Semitism is just in nowadays.
Yeah, basically.
Like, they don't even see this as a problem. They're like, oh, it'll be a nice girl power moment because she'll show mercy. But, like...
Well, I wouldn't even say it's necessarily...
It makes no sense.
I would say, if anything, on the woke front, they're doing the whole, the black woman forgives the white racist.
Yeah.
If anything, but even that's a stretch given the context. It just seems like an angry mother slapping, the idiot who led this charge.
I forgive you. Is she? I'm also still confused. Is she still trying to hide the fact that she's blind? I don't understand, because Farazan knows that she's blind. No, his son says it. His son says she's blind.
Yeah. To
Farazan. And they were having that scene where he's like, hey, look, I've got 2 colors. Which color do you like? Can you see? And but like, it's so obvious that she can't see because she just stands there and doesn't look at people. Also, why not garner some sympathy by saying, I lost my eyesight in the war? It just doesn't seem strategic at all. I guess they're trying to say no one will take her seriously as a woman if she's also blind.
Probably.
But
remind me, why does being blind matter to them? Oh, wait,
what I just said is the only explanation I can think of.
Well, in the Silmarillion, Muriel is supposed to become clairvoyant, and also uses the Palantir. So, like, she helps lead Numenor into an even more powerful direction.
Yeah. And the Fremen, they have religious reasons for if you become blind, they send you out to the desert because the water is precious to them, and so being blind, it's a handicap that it's just not tenable. In that situation, so they just send you out to die.
Yeah. So,
but that was changed later on. They stopped doing that because of Paul Atreides.
Yeah.
So,
also, because if they sent you out to the desert, it's just nothing but ocean, and that wouldn't turn out well.
Oh right, sorry, wrong book.
Yeah. Totally not the wrong book at all. That isn't being ripped off. Yeah, so they're all over here in the restaurant,
just
openly
plotting against the queen, loud enough for a soldier to overhear them.
Yeah, for Afro swordsman over here to be like, "Don't do that. That would be bad."
And also, like, he makes a really good case. I can't understand why her character goes on and continues what she's doing. Like, hey, why do you hate her so much? She died. She lost her eyesight saving your brother, trying to save your brother's life.
Yeah.
And then I actually kind of liked this scene where she goes up and finds the Palantir's gone.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of a nice touch.
I don't understand how she got the Palantir out.
Well, that was, she saw it. I guess she just took it in the scene where she saw it because she was talking to the king.
Oh, like 5 episodes ago?
Yeah. So she just took it then, and it's just been it's been hiding it in between her bosoms the whole time.
Yeah, she's just got like this one mono tit, like the woman from Kung Pao,
or she's got 3 of them, like in.
The mutant from Total Recall.
Total Recall. There we go. My brain is normally a lot faster than this.
Yeah.
Oh man, she's got 3 of them. She's got 3 reasons to like her now. And then Adar wrote a letter to a cave troll or something.
Yeah,
I love how they try and show Adar, he just cares about the orcs, but he also like doesn't care that one of the orc messengers was killed.
Well, we just skipped over the most important detail about the orcs.
Oh, sorry, they have families.
Yep.
The waif on this.
There we
guy.
go. That's enough. That's enough because we see the family right there in the background. The loving orc mother and the loving orc baby.
It's so ridiculous. And then he goes and nuzzles her.
It's wild, like, but this is the problem we already discussed. Is like they're just humanizing evil.
Yeah.
Have a good night, Mark.
Night.
It drives me nuts. Like, orcs were just corrupted elves. That's all they were. Completely twisted by Morgoth and his influence, and for some reason we now have orc families who want to be left alone and do nothing and not be bothered by people, and they're hated because they look different.
He looks so dorky. The father orc looks so ridiculous. Just like memeable. Gosh, it's awful. Okay. I think we're not almost done with this episode, but I think we've already talked about most of the other stuff.
Yeah, so Anatar offers rings of power to give the dwarves so that they are more powerful.
How does he even know that they have a problem right now?
I don't know. It's all of this information has to line up perfectly in order for these things to occur. Otherwise, the story falls apart.
It's
all
already fallen apart.
Well, obviously. But all of the story is just nothing but convenience. It's convenient that, Galadriel hasn't informed anybody of anything. It's convenient that the messenger happened to be taken out by some third party. It's convenient that Celebrimbor knows that the dwarves have a problem.
See, with Celebrimbor too, just like open treason against the king, and he's like, I know what I'll do. I will write him a letter saying, I promise I'm closing the forges. You don't need to worry about me. It's just so juvenile.
You could almost feel him writing that letter with emojis. This ambush pissed me off too.
They're trying to show a soldier being practical and taking a dead man's boots as like this big emotional beat, and you're like, yeah, like
except that he had boots in the spider cave.
It's war though. Like soldiers did this all the time.
Yeah.
They would often take the boots of dead people. And he gets
this scene just drives me nuts.
Okay. Especially with the reveal later on, which was obvious that she was branded by Adar as well. Yeah. If she's trying to gain Isildur's trust, right? So if you've been branded by Adar and your goal is, I assume, to like infiltrate these humans, gain their trust, and then open the gate at night and let the orcs in or something like that, right?
Sure.
If you need to gain this human's trust, would your first move be stabbing him in the leg?
Oh, I thought you were an orc.
Because orcs wear Numenorian boots.
Yeah. And don't walk around, without some sort of goofy gait or anything.
If they're trying to show that she's like repentant and like, oh, I only swore oaths so I could live, and now I'm trying to hide the fact that I did that, maybe this works. But I think it's pretty clear, especially because then they showed you the exact same ambush again, right?
Yeah.
With more of Adar's friends. that this is what they do. They leave someone branded and then have them attack.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense. Nothing. So much of the show doesn't make sense. She literally does the "I have a boyfriend" meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's my betrothed.
Yeah, and that's what makes me laugh, because it's like, oh, he almost killed her because of the meme. It's like that episode of Family Guy when Brian goes to try and save the woman, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll hold on to the car." And she's like, "Oh, thank you. Hold on, let me just get my baby." And then he lets go, and he's like, "Oh no, I lost my grip." So yeah, then they meet up with these dudes, and they get jumped
twice in a row. Oh, and then this
stupid wire trick. I don't know. Like, I get that Arendir is supposed to be like the cool guy, but it ain't working, guys.
He jumps down from the tree, does a spinny spin, and then breaks through the cart like the Kool-Aid Man. Facing the wrong direction, too.
Yeah.
He comes feet first somehow. He's running up to the cart and then jumps like this, and then somehow has... It's so
like
dumb.
It's like that goofy corkscrew kick from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I don't know why he did it. And see, also, too, the guy that jumps out of the tree isn't the actor.
Yeah.
So, like, they have just another guy who runs in and then hides behind the cart, and then they pull him through the actual actor through the cart, doing the corkscrew kick. And it doesn't make any sense. Why do the kick? Just come out and start dropping people with your arrows, you know?
He's in a tree, and he's holding a bow. He doesn't need to do any of this. He has a vantage point with a bow.
Yeah,
and yet...
he is the Fresh Prince of
he's
Noldor.
going to do 30 flips into melee range so he can stab people with his arrows instead of using them like arrows.
Yeah. Because he even cuts one of their necks with it.
He comes...
I don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't understand.
They thought that this was so cool, too. Like, they're so proud of this. Oh, man, this is the coolest stunt. He's so cool. He's cooler than even Legolas. Like, they don't realize that, like, we liked Legolas's character, but, like, the stupid physics that he does is everyone's least favorite part of those movies.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's the number one complaint I've heard is sometimes Aragorn's stunts get ridiculous, and I wish they weren't so silly.
Yes. Well, like the one, it is unfortunate because Orlando Bloom hurt his arm, but it was when he swings up onto the horse from the one side and does like a full clockwise rotation or counterclockwise rotation onto its saddle. It's like everybody's torn on that one, and it drives me nuts because it looks bad. But I understand why they did it, because like he obviously hurt his shoulder or whatever. He couldn't actually get on the horse. But,
and like if they like weigh less, like maybe you can do kind of weird physics and stuff. Him walking on top of the snow is fine.
Well, that works because of the elves.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
And
but he's also like lighter on his feet. If he wants to do a little spin to get up on top of a horse, it's okay. But
I thought sliding down the
elephant trunk
shield.
Yeah, the shield is a little silly
in Helm's Deep. I thought that was like okay considering the situation.
I think the worst moment is the Oliphant when he like slides down the Oliphant trunk as it's falling, and it's a little like the shield is a little over the top, but more believable than
Yes, agreed.
He runs into melee range to fight
with an arrow.
With an arrow like it's a sword. They really thought that they were cooking. This actress doesn't have any reasons to like her.
Yeah, and then he just they all return back to Perlengir.
I don't know how to say it.
Parngir, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember the town. And then they have the funeral pyre.
Oh no, but what was his thing? Like, his whole thing was, I have to make it to this town. What do you have to do there? I have to go to a funeral. Why wasn't
he has affairs?
Yeah, I have affair. Yeah, I have affairs to attend there. And like, what affairs? And it cuts to the funeral.
Yeah.
Why wasn't he there already?
Yeah.
What was he doing in the woods? He had his like travel pack with him.
No, it was a bundle of wood.
Oh, he was gathering wood?
Yeah, he was gathering wood next to an ambush. Like, all right. No one saw him. They all just kind of like end up there. It drives me nuts. Like none of it works logistically.
It is. It's a faggot of sticks.
Yep. He just picks up
Yeah,
his own,
I thought it was like a sleeping bag.
Yep, no, he just picks up his own little faggot and carries it home.
You could tell how much I was paying attention to this. I finished this like literally like an hour before the stream.
Yeah, I saw that and I started chuckling because I was like, wait a minute. So you picked up the bag, you picked up all this wood, put it over there, and then climbed into the tree.
And then like he that's like right next to the ambush.
Exactly.
And he went around the ambush to climb up the tree.
Yeah,
none of the logistics make sense.
Are just terrible. It's like he hides this. Because
he's in this tree.
Tree.
The guy was sitting against this wheel, facing that tree.
Yes.
And he somehow climbed up it without getting noticed.
And none of the guys who were behind the carriage saw him either. Because there's like 4 or 5 guys. So somehow the Fresh Prince of Noldor managed to drop the bundle of sticks over there, snuck all the way around into the tree, climbed up the tree, made no noise, and he just sat there waiting for the ambush to happen. And we're just supposed to buy all of this because flippity-floopity trick through the carriage. It's like, all right.
I love how they're trying to...
So they burn the activist.
And he's sad because he lost his mommy. He doesn't want an absent black father. He wants a white one instead. So he connects with Isildur more than Rondir.
Yeah.
I think everyone was thinking that he was the father, right? And that he was going to have pointy elf ears. Is that what?
Well, they haven't shown his ears yet.
Yeah, like that's what people were guessing.
Yeah. I still think he's going to be the father. There's no reason Arondir wouldn't like.
I mean, if they're specific, if they're calling it out in this episode when he says, "All I know is that you're not my father," maybe that's what they're going for.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, it's a little on the nose that they would call it out, or maybe they're just saying that because that's what everyone was guessing, and they're like, "No, that's silly." We have to address the fan theories. We can't have people shipping Galadriel and Halbrand. Oh no, that's okay. All right, so these characters have both flip-flopped their positions.
Yeah. Durin wants he no longer wants to. He doesn't want to trust the rings, but now he's also kind of okay with how things are going. It's weird.
And then he overhears the sad story. Oh, we get aqueducts, which are probably maybe he's gonna fix the aqueducts and bring water to the people. I don't know. But then the little kid overhears him talking about how he killed his mom.
She died. She died saving him,
trying to save him. Yeah.
And he blames himself, yes.
And he overhears it because he thinks he's guilty for killing his mom because he
reasons.
had a sword that I don't. This just feels like CW crap. He's literally spying on a conversation, talking about mommy issues, right? Like, it's just so boring.
I don't understand the connection they're trying to make here because, like, Theo, like, they're all victims of what's going on.
Well, he hid the sword thing from his mom, and they were trying to find the sword, so he's kind of responsible for leading the orcs to his, and he's not directly responsible for his mom's death.
Yeah,
but I guess he feels guilty about it. Maybe, I don't know. And then they come up with the great plan to go steal his horse back.
Yeah, a horse that somehow Theo knows exactly where it is.
I don't know. And his big plan, oh no, he's caught. I'm gonna show my brand that's not a brand. It's where I got stabbed by the sword.
Yeah.
And that's equivalent to a brand. Oh, that's later, I guess. We have to get a coronation where an eagle shows up.
For no reason.
And then leaves, and that's important.
Yeah. Yeah, so this coronation...
Don't worry, that's a mystery tool we'll use later.
Yeah, so the coronation happens, and Muriel is about to become queen officially. And then...
They literally did the meme from First Night, the jousting movie.
Knight's Tale?
Knight's Tale. My brain is so slow today.
All good.
Yeah, they did the cheer for him. Yeah. We bask in the innocence of his virility.
Yeah, and then
yeah,
like
Farazan.
Yeah, so they're challenging her. There's a bunch of people in the crowd that are like, "No, she's a liar," and then out of nowhere,
what did she lie about? What did she lie about?
Nothing. They call
well,
her
no. It's because she. It's because they knew that they were going to present the Palantir. Oh, sorry. The writers knew that this scene would end with her saying the Palantir's mine and thinking, oh, she's lying. She's a filthy elf lover.
Uh-huh.
And so they called her a liar beforehand. It doesn't make sense. But it's set up so that it's justified. Even though there's no reason for that character to be calling her a liar. It's so that...
Well, because it's just some random dude.
It's backwards writing.
Yeah. Yeah, so she gets blamed and called a liar, and right before she accepts the role is when Double D pulls out the P, and everyone's like, huh? What's this? A bowling ball.
We're not allowed to have that elven magic here.
Yeah, that scary elven artifact. And
get out of here with your investment profiles.
Yeah, and then it blasts away Elendil, and everyone starts attacking her. And it's like we have just crossed so many.
It's just things happening, and none of it's explained. None of it. There's not a reason for any of these things to be happening. And none of it makes sense. Like, it's just, it's blind world building. They're like, oh, this will be a nice detail. This will make the world richer, without thinking of any of the implications or like how that would actually change the culture. It's friggin', it's like, it's amateur, right? Like it feels like. Oh man, my brain is not working. I can only think of Tolkien, and I know that's not it. Who wrote Harry Potter?
You can do it.
It's a bunch of letters. It's Rowling. It's J.K. Rowling. I'm so sick. Okay, I'm so sick. It's like J.K. Rowling level of world building. Okay, J.K. Rowling is not a great world builder. She was a good storyteller, and she told a fun story, and she introduced things like the time turner, because that's fun. This will be a nice spicy little world building thing, without thinking of how ridiculous that existing in this universe is. And she introduces Quidditch with, look, this is fun. We're going to have a snitch that gives 150 points. That's unique. That's really fun world building. And then they don't even realize until 30 years later when they're making a Quidditch video game, wait, this isn't fun. And so they have to nerf Did you see this news? This happened this week. They nerfed the snitch to only give you 30 points.
Really?
And it doesn't end the game. The snitches just doesn't make any sense in sports, right?
Uh-huh.
So they're making a Quidditch game, and has two problems. Is it ends the game and it's way too many points, and so like even if you get it, there's no hope that you could claw back, like a comeback. And so now the game ends when any team gets 100 points.
Oh.
So it's a race to 100 points, and if you get the snitch, it gives you 30. That's a much better sport. It's that like lazy world building of, I thought of a fun idea. Let's slap it on a ham sandwich, and it'll taste good, without thinking of like pairings or flavors. Yeah. Like ham isn't going to taste good with ham tastes good on anything. It's a bad metaphor. I should have picked a different metaphor. With poop. You don't want poop on a ham sandwich. I'm slow today, okay, guys?
That was a bad metaphor. Let me come up with a shit one.
It just feels so lazy. It's just things. Things are happening.
Yeah, like this eagle that has no reason to exist. It just flies in. I thought they were going to do something small, like, it's just like a regular eagle that was like came off the mountain. No, it's one of the eagles.
Well, the eagles did live on Numenor at this point.
Well, sure,
so they lived on the
just
peaks of Numenor.
It just flies in out of nowhere.
It doesn't make sense, and it's not explained, and it's trouble. They think he was here for her coronation, but now they think it's Farazan because the guy did the Knight's Tale thing. Okay, it's just...
And Muriel doesn't say anything about it.
Like
she just stands there and lets it happen.
It's the same thing with the whole like Sauron's plan thing, right? They have the audacity to say Sauron's been Sauron's been planning this whole thing, and then they go out of their way to show you that Sauron has planned nothing, and he's just flying off the seat of his pants. Like it's just so amateur. And then we get the dwarven rings, and he switched hands. So maybe it wasn't Mithril he put in there. Maybe it was something else. Except that, like, his whole plan, maybe he just corrupted the Mithril when he switched, when he touched it. Because he needed the Mithril to create the ring. It's just dumb.
Yeah, they're trying to like emphasize that he has some amount of influence on everything that's being made,
right?
But they're not really doing a good job of it, because like in the books, that, as I'm sure you know, that the techniques that were used were what led to the influence of the three rings being able to be affected by the One Ring, whereas this they're trying to show it more directly.
Yeah, it's because he touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the technique they used to create the rings made them susceptible to a backdoor. Mm-hmm. I really like my programming metaphor.
I think it's a good one.
But yeah, it's silly. I had another point and I forgot it. Can't wait for Thursday. I have to edit so much footage. It's 3 hours of nonsense. Anyway,
Yeah, I
we've been
gotta
doing
get
this for
like
3.5 hours. I'm exhausted, and my brain has clearly deteriorated, and I'm not doing a good job anymore.
what's that? What's the author? I know what it is. Come on, you can do it. It's
about-
letters.
It's letters. It's not J.R.R. Tolkien. It's different letters. It's the other one with letters.
There's a J. There's an R.
Oh. Oh. Well,
Well, thank you for having me on, buddy.
I hope I've talked so much smack about bad world building. I hope if I ever get around to writing the book that I want to write, I just hope I do a better job.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll be here complaining about
Here's
it.
the thing. But here's the thing. If it's not good, I'm not going to publish it.
Sure.
I have pride.
Mm,
I didn't
self-respect.
I didn't publish my music album until it was done. And it took 15 years. So. Oh, anyway. There are some other articles that I don't want to read.
Okay.
But even it was Forbes, The Hollywood Reporter, and Variety all came out with negative articles, which I thought was hilarious. Because The Hollywood Reporter is the one that had that massive puff piece before season 1 aired.
Mm-hmm.
And even they said the headline for that one is The Lord of the Rings of Power review. Season 2 of Amazon's fantasy prequel is too epic for its own good.
Yeah, okay.
There's too much going on. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's got other problems. I don't think that's the main problem, but there's way too much going on and none of it has anything to do with each other. Just like season 1. Like the Dwarven plotline had nothing to do with any of the other ones except for the fact that it was Mithril at the very end. We still have no idea what the Harfoots are doing in this story. And I don't think the writers know either.
Yeah, all of that wind up and set up just to create and explain a support character for Gandalf. That's it. That was the whole point and purpose, and it's insane that they did that.
Well, but Tolkien never said that the Harfoots didn't do anything important in the Second Age. He specifically said that the Hobbits didn't do anything important. Mm-hmm. Right. But he never said Harfoots.
I'm pretty sure the Harfoot specifically does not exist.
No, yes, there's three ancestors for the hobbits. It's the Harfoots, the Stoors, and the Blue Bottoms, something like that. There's a third one, but yeah, Harfoots are real. What is it? Harfoots, Stoors,
Stoors, and Fallowhides,
and
Fallowhides.
Harfoots and the Stoors and the Harry Potter author.
Yeah.
I just forgot it again. That was going to be the joke. Is that I did it. I can't remember her name. I keep thinking J.R.R. Tolkien.
I'm just not going to say it because this is funny.
J.K. Rowling. The Harfoots and the Stoors and the Rowlings. That was going to be the joke. I can't do this anymore.
Dude, you need some sleep. It's past your bedtime, buddy.
I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. And then tomorrow's Labor Day, so my wife is home. And she can watch the kids, and I can edit all day long. Or I'll still be sick, and I'll sleep all day long. J.K. Rowling, why is that so hard to remember? I'm usually really, really good at remembering names and actors and stuff.
Yeah,
I have a really sharp mind.
Yeah,
I've honed my brain.
Which has
is this
been
what is this what drinking is like? I don't know. Feels like I'm drunk. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. It's been a blast. I hope that was remotely entertaining. But it looks like we had a lot of people watching. So, I mean, you're welcome back if you want to keep coming. If you want to do this every week, just let me know. I'll put you on the thumbnail.
Yeah, certainly. For Rings of Power, yes.
Anything for you.
And thank you.
Anything for Rings
This has
of
been
Power.
fun.
It's been a blast. I'm going to go sleep, and that's it. That's all I have to say about that. Anything else? Anything to plug? I put on the shirt. I didn't even talk about it. I'll talk about it next week. I got a big Kickstarter from The Lucent. I got a bunch of comic books I've been super excited for. They look so pretty. Michael Bancroft is awesome. He gave me a bunch of extra stuff that I didn't buy. I didn't pay for.
Nice.
Anyway, bye. See you guys next week.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is...
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If it's true, please take a minute to subscribe to the channel, and you can join us along for the ride. And if you pay me, I'll try to be more entertaining, so please consider joining Patreon.